everybody, and welcome to the RHAP B&B for episode 8 of Survivor 46. My name is Mike Bloom, and I have come out of hiding. I don't know how big of a mistake it is going to be, but I am here. I'm feeling well-dressed, considering that I am rocking my own home brand Q skirt, and we're going to talk about a catch-all of an episode, much like the handy pouch might catch all the items you need in this one-of-a-kind piece of wardrobe. We've got a hell of an episode to get into in so many ways. But first and foremost, I don't want to say it's a big mistake by, putting the cart before the horse and not introducing our panel this week. So let me, of course, welcome in my number one that I would never turn on, even though apparently everyone in Survivor 46 likes to do it. It is Liana Boraas. Liana, how are you?
I'm doing well, a little nervous. Please don't become like season 46 and vote me out. But look, I genuinely feel like I'm becoming a broken record on the podcast because every single time we start the episode, I'm like, oh my gosh, can you believe what happened in the episode? And yet here I am saying, oh my gosh, can you believe what happened in the episode? Between hide and seek, Venus taking credit for the soda blindside to just everything that Q is doing. I mean, what a whack season that we're watching, and I'm having a blast.
And I am excited to have even more of a blast with a guy that honestly blew up season 43. Definitively the player of the season. He's got the Sia money to show for it. So excited to welcome in, making his B&B debut, Jesse Lopez.
Oh my God. Thank you for having me. This is a bucket list item post-game after Survivor, and I was starting to think I would never cross it off. I was very nervous. I wasn't getting the invite. I was nervous.
Never say never. Look, we were just taking our time, either that or you had to wake us up early in the morning, because that's obviously when the best things are done in Survivor. This is, I guess, your formal interview to become a B&B guest. It just happens to exist in the form of a podcast.
Yes, thank you. I'm very good at games. I'm very good at hide and seek. I was just playing hide and seek earlier with my kids.
Big mistake.
Yeah, big mistake.
You said you were good at hide and seek. Do you think if you guys had played hide and seek in Survivor 43, would people have caught on to Gabler's strategy earlier?
I honestly think we probably should have engaged in hide and seek. Like, that would have saved, that would have saved me at least. We would have caught him really, really early. He would have been hiding in plain sight. Honestly, though, we actually probably would have still been looking for him. We might have lost.
That's what I'm wondering. Would Gabler just be standing like in the middle of the shelter, just being like hiding in plain sight, baby?
Well, no, he would be covering himself in palm frond blankets in the shelter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The ultimate.
Rumor has it he's still out there, and they just didn't find him. Like, he was there the whole time.
Oh, is he still playing hide and seek like from this season? Also, he was the bonus that they tried to find.
Yeah, no, I was actually surprised. I thought maybe hiding in plain sight was said. And I thought that could have been the episode title,
Yeah, I mean, it was close. We had hide and seek, and there was plenty that we get to uncover about this. I mean, listen, considering the MO of this podcast, we like to talk about Survivor when it's fun. And good God, this episode was so much fun. Now, look, if your mileage depends on Q, good luck to the people that don't enjoy this guy. Because this episode begins and quite literally ends with him. So if you are not drinking the Kool-Aid, if you will, good luck. I hope you find some other characters to glom onto. But this episode was one of my favorites of the new era, if I'm being completely honest. Just from like a pure, wild, hilarious perspective. I think I speak on behalf of not only all of us, but a lot of the fans as well, that it feels like this season has taken a significant shift since the downward spiral of Yanu in those first 4 weeks. And it has picked up both this like sense of comedy, but also simultaneous wackadoo-ness, for lack of a better term, despite the fact that we got rid of one of the titled wackadoos in Banu, where these people cannot sit on their hands whatsoever. And as a result, Jesse, it is creating absolute bedlam.
Yeah, it's crazy. Honestly, there was a point in the season where I was starting to wonder. I was like, is 90 minutes too long? And this is not a shot at like, the 46ers, like they're great. But I was just starting to wonder, like, you know what? I have to stay up past 9. My kids have to stay up past 9. Like, is it really worth it? But I think that this episode by itself, like, really was like, okay, 90 minutes is absolutely worth it because we got to see a full-on game of hide and seek. We got to see Q advertise his merchandise that he still hasn't released yet? Where are the Q skirts?
So, and this is a bit of a Club Condo thing, even though they recorded earlier. Q did open a merch store, and it sort of is like a DIY Q skirt. I'm actually, Liana, you can chat. I'm going to try to get it open here.
Okay, well, that's the thing is that it's just what I didn't understand, is it just a unique way of wearing a hoodie, or is it actually constructed differently? Because my understanding was that maybe it was just his prototype, perhaps, that was him just taking the hoodie and turning it around backwards. So maybe there is something unique to it, Jesse, but I thought it was like, well, it's just a hoodie backwards.
Well,
I thought prototype was what he was going for out there.
Okay.
Very limited supplies. Come on, he can't do everything out there.
All right, well,
he's like out there sewing.
Now that he has the luxury, he didn't have to sit out a challenge to get any additional supplies. He has indeed opened a merch store on qburdette.com. Okay. Here's what we've got so far. We mainly got a few things here. So indeed, there are hoodies, one of which says Q skirt pending ... So I'm not sure if this means, like, is this a beta version, or is it the joke of like, hey, just tie it around your waist and you have a Q skirt right now. There's also one that says Q skirts luxury fashion with, I guess, some sort of clip art picture of a kangaroo.
Huh. Well, I mean, I get the kangaroo because it's like a kangaroo pouch, right? That's like the one of the benefits of the Q skirt. What I'm failing to understand is the Q skirt pending ... All right,
well, let's take a look. Let's see if there's
anything.
What
does that mean?
Who knew that the softest hoodie you'll ever own comes with such a cool design? You won't regret buying this classic streetwear piece of apparel with a convenient pouch pocket and warm hood for chilly evenings.
This has got to be a generic, right?
Yeah, I was saying, did ChatGPT write this?
You would sell this way better.
All right, so we've got dark green, if you will, hunter green, perhaps, and pink, and white, and gray, and blue. But yeah, there's nothing. Oh, there's also just a picture of Mississippi that says "Straight out the sip."
Team Q, straight out the sip. Okay. Do you think Hunter has one?
I mean, I have to imagine it's the prototype, right? But also, like, so this is an island, I suppose, within Mississippi. This feels like a shirt you would buy within Mississippi. Oh, there's also a mug that says Team Q out playing to survive.
Oh, okay. I see. It's a Q. That's the letter Q. I get that. That's not what I saw at first. And there's a lizard on it.
Wait, do you think this is like an after dark mug?
No, I saw a stomach for some reason with like the little esophageal like thing that sticks up off of it.
You saw the organ of the stomach?
Yes. I don't know why.
To represent the empty stomach that Q had, that he couldn't get the rice in this challenge.
Out playing to survive?
Yeah, which feels like sort of Liana when you had like the mock-up logos last week of just like a phrase that makes absolutely no sense for Survivor.
What does that mean? Out playing to survive.
Oh well, he's got. Don't worry, across.
He's surfing on that pillow. We have a pillow.
All right. Well, listen. I apologize because now by drawing attention to it, we might get the shop taken down. But it looks like this is a photo of Q.
What is even that? What is happening? Where's the is he Jesus? He's walking on water. Like, is he supposed to be surfing? There's no surfboard. What is this photo?
I mean, Q called himself the mob boss this episode. I would not be surprised if next week he's like, I sacrificed myself and nobody bit. I'm better than Jesus Christ.
Is he jumping? Is that real? Or is it photoshopped?
That's flying. He's flying. He's just landing. Is what it is. He's landing in the water.
I like he was dropped.
Landing is what that is. That's my interpretation of it.
I call this falling with style. Now you can snuggle and cuddle with you very own Jumping Q premium pillow. Want to add a splash of color to your home? This premium feel pillow with a shape retaining insert. I don't want.
Okay, honestly, he does real estate, right? He sells homes. Imagine if you like sends that to anybody who like buys a home with him. Like, He needs to do this if he's not.
I want a full Q house. Like, I want to walk in and the couches are covered in Quillos. I want the Q skirt in all the dresser drawers. Like, I need a Q themed abode, and he's like, all right, listen, I'll sell it to you for this price, but it has to come with all the Q merch. I have so much to sell right now.
I like to think when he's staging houses that he like sneaks in one of his own pillows. He's like, oh, how did that get there?
Oh, I like this one. So this one has...
Yeah, that was cool.
So this one is, like, it can't technically be a buff, but it also looks like he's blindfolded.
It's for the blindfold challenge.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, I think for me, I think the whole Q-skirt thing... Again, I'm coming forward being like, this is one of the best episodes of the new era. And people might understand, like, why, because there was so much malarkey that happened for an outcome that we kind of knew going into Tribal Council. But for me, the Q-skirt scene is a great example where we start this episode with Q, as much as he proclaims his Messiah-like complexes in this position of power, where, like, he is cutting a rug. That's probably how he made the skirt. Like, walking around selling this product. He's so charismatic. He's so funny. And so you wonder, like, these past couple weeks, how has he been able to really just swing this mace through the game and be like, we got to get rid of this guy. This is the plan that's happening now, and nobody's catching on to him. And it's for that reason. And so to track through the episode that by the end, everyone that was laughing and chortling and kikiing and willing to buy a Q-skirt at the beginning, by the end, wants nothing to do with this man. They are exhausted. They are livid. They are confused by everything this man pulled off. And Jesse, I would not be surprised if, much like in that pillow, Q's going to be sinking very soon.
Yeah, I'm wondering how many of them canceled their Q-skirt pre-orders after that. That tribal was so funny just to watch all of them, like, one by one walk into the voting booth and just let out some form of just like exasperation, just exhaustion, like pure exhaustion.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around Q, like, as a person, because it just feels, obviously we see sort of elements of this in the preseason, or in the pre-jury, right? And we have had these little comments that have been really funny. And I don't know if this is just because we have more time we could dedicate to Q, so we're seeing more of this, or I don't know, Jesse, if it's like a food thing, because there was some mention of, oh, this is how we are when we have food in us. If that's related to it, like you're not eating, and so he just doesn't have the energy for this kind of malarkey. I don't know.
Where did they get the food from, by the way? Because
well, that's
they turned on the rice, but like, where's the food that they're talking about?
The merch feast?
Well, I think the thing is, though, like, yes, it's a low bar for every other contestant. It was a lower bar for Yanu. Remember, they didn't get fire until day 11 of 16, so they were used to eating raw coconut. So I think for Q, even like the morsel of cooked food he's had so far was like, oh my god, this is like the Golden Corral buffet.
Yeah, I think Q is just so funny, and he's been funny for, like, the entire time. I feel like there was like the moments in the pre-merge where he would like walk out onto the sand and he'd look up at the sky and he'd be like, why is my path always the hardest? It's just like there's so much drama and dramatics with him and theatrics, and it's like I think it all just like hopefully not culminated, because I would love to, I just want to keep Q as long as possible, just for the pure entertainment value. But it all seemed to like come to a head in this episode for Q.
No, I mean, it's so true. And to go back to your point, Mike, about is this it for Q? Because we start to get the conversation with Tiffany and with Kenzie about, ooh, you know, Q's kind of running things, like we need to be aware of that. Maybe we're going to need to take him out. But that felt more like a he's running the game type situation. Whereas with this tribal council specifically, it was more of a, this is unpredictability that we can't deal with. And I feel like that's a bit of a shift in the narrative when it comes to Q about why people would maybe want to take him out.
And how amazing is this, right? That this was the man that said, Banu, you are too erratic at Tribal Council. You need to be a team player. I'm going to rehearse with you how to do this. And then it's like, those who can't do teach, right? It's this idea that now he's coming and being like, all right, Jeff, I'm going to stop you there. We all want to talk about the rice negotiation. But first, I'm going to leave the game by everybody, just so you know. And to the point where, again, it was a live tribal council, but it was more so a live aspect where everyone's sort of looping with each other like, yeah, we're still just doing the same thing, right? Like, does anyone understand what he's doing? And then, at least my logic, what I saw, I don't know if you all have different perceptions, is like, once everyone kind of realized, okay, this guy just did something randomly out of nowhere, it has no bearing on the plan whatsoever, let's move forward with it. My thought was that it was going to be like a 8-2, maybe even 9-1 vote onto Tevin coming in. It was more so this idea of Q raising the stink, which, to your point, Jesse, is why the vast majority of these confessionals weren't like, I have no idea what's going on. It's just more like, oh God, why did you have to drag this out half an hour longer? I could be back right now by the fire.
Yeah, truly. I think like what's funny, what I think it is about Q, like game wise, I think like this all sort of stems from the fact that like he has this sort of like not coach, maybe coach, but like coach as in the occupation personality, where it's like he wants to be the one like sort of like calling the shots and directing things. And when things sort of like, or there's infighting on his team of the 6, right? Like he wants to sort of correct that somehow, and he's got to like exert his sort of presence. And so like I don't know what it is like game wise. I feel like that's the approach he's taking, and it's very funny.
Well, because Mike, did you get any insight from your interviews or anything on the situation? Because my read is, I agree with Jesse that I think he needs to be the one calling the shots, and we hear this consistently throughout the season from him. But then, of course, you have the weird situation where wasn't he the original one who wanted to target Tiffany, and then it was like, what? Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, again, this episode begins and ends with Q and middles with Q as well, considering that there was this entire sequence where, like, Tiffany tells Tevin, like, do we really need to get rid of Venus right now? And then Tevin tells Q, and Q's like, my God, my number one ally must go at the final 10 right now. What wrath Tevin has wreaked upon us all by being like, well, if Tevin could do it, I could do it. And then it just ends up, luckily, with a little bit more time, it all kind of flipping back onto everything. But just the beautiful, beautiful hypocrisy of, you went against the 6, therefore I have to get rid of you, person who is also in the 6.
What I think also is kind of funny, and I like wonder, because production, and this is like the production side of things, right? Like production usually has a sense of what is going to happen, right? Like some sort of a hint, more than a hint. This one, like, I feel like they probably were also completely caught off guard. Like, I don't know if he even said in like confessionals or something like,
no,
hey, I'm thinking about pulling this out of my bag.
I feel like if he did, we would have seen something about it, right? It would have even been his like, and don't you worry, I've got something I'm going to pull out of my pocket tonight because it's all confusing right now, and I'm ready to make it even better to turn him back onto me. But I think he genuinely shocked. I mean, did you see Jeff's face? Jeff was more confused with that than he was when Hunter did this backbend off the pole after he won.
Yeah, he did the pose that he does when from season 45 where when Hannah went and Sean went, he like almost like leans in.
Oh well, yeah, for him it was PTSD. Like, not another one, please. Please, no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Why does my path have to be the hardest?
Well, yeah, like I kept, there was absolutely zero indication that anything like this was going to happen, because also the other theory is like, well, maybe it's an idol flush, like trying to flush an idol somehow or like something, but just we got no indication. It feels like it came out of absolutely nowhere. No one knew how to take it, as you said, Jeff included. And so it's just so confusing. I think first of all, there were 1,000 amazing quotes from this episode, but I think one of my favorites was actually Ben at this tribal council when he goes, I don't care for these shenanigans.
Yeah, I am not here for the shenanigans, which like, sorry, Ben, that's all of us. But I love that as well because, again, look at the beginning of the episode when Q's like, these fools, they're sitting back there going ha ha he he at camp. I need to talk to Ben and get in his head about what happened before these people. I need to get down to business. That's why I'm here. Cut to Ben talking about Q, accusing him of having the shenanigans. It is amazing. But to your point, Liana, I mean, just reactions for days between Hunter's face becoming a Salvador Dali painting and just melting into itself to, of course, the so applicable subtitle of "This is the dumbest thing ever," to Kenzie's incredibly confused, like Elvis lip of confusion as she's looking back and forth across Tiffany of like, do you know about this? They're like, no, absolutely not. I'm not my brother's keeper.
Just what? Just what? That is my reaction to the whole thing. And I think Q is walking this fine line between genius and wackadoo. Like, that's really because when you, okay, look, not gonna lie, I loved his interpretation of hide and seek and the strategy. Yes, of course, is he grandiose and above and so dramatic about the whole thing? Yes, of course, it's cute. But at the same time, you're like, okay, there's some logic here. Maybe he is reading into something, like wanting to play so proactively, but then doing things like this. And essentially, once the six, probably the worst alliance ever, forms and now has voted out 2 members of the 6, and the other target was another member of the 6. What?
They've only ever targeted alliance members.
Yes, ever since forming, they've only targeted alliance members.
There's like a constant opening for a new position in the six.
I'm obsessed with it. It's the defense against the dark arts of like, nobody wants this job. If you do, you got it for a little bit and then you're ousted in some way. I can't wait for it to eventually happen where like it's Q and 5 other new people. If like the final 6 is like him, Ben, Charlie, Kenzie, Tiki Man, and Jeff. That's the 6.
It's like we made it the whole way. The 6 lasted.
The 6 did it, you guys.
Jeff and McEwen Final Tribal Council being like, and I got this 6 to the end, and all the other members of the 6 are on the jury.
So does Liz replace Tevin then in the 6, right? She seems like she would be the next one in line, right? If we're doing this whole rotating thing.
Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know if Hunter's gonna want Liz as his like +1. Was that the entire impetus of this thing? Was like, oh no, but you also get a +1. Like I mean, I guess Hunter would have to choose between Venus and Liz, and considering that Venus, after she walked over to interrupt their strategy meeting, just says, can't we vote her out? And he was the only one to vote against her. I guess he'd pick Liz by default, but that's still not a great, assortment of options.
No, I think he'll probably bring in Venus so that they could then turn on
vote her out. Yes,
that's the MO of the 6.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, a little bit of like, a little bit of like the poison pill of like, aha, okay, why don't you come in the 6, Venus? Don't worry, this is a great alliance that will absolutely be solid.
We're super loyal.
Yeah,
that's our thing.
You want an alliance with us?
Well, can I also say, speaking of that, and speaking of things going awry, I think Charlie might low-key be one of the funniest cast members of the season. Like, and I understand initially his edit was super Taylor Swift focused and a cringe, for being completely honest. I think Charlie himself would say it. But I feel like the past few episodes, he has been so goddamn funny, especially in reaction to Q, between obviously him trolling him on the alphabet game. And then this week, I got so many giggles out of him trying to get that negotiation out of Jeff at the last second and just completely selling, I've got you right where I want you. And then him also reacting to being brought into the 6. Because again, he's the new kid coming in being like, great, a majority alliance. Wait, what happened to Tim? Oh no. Oh, what are they doing? Oh my God. Like, he is somehow the straight man in this situation that's also able to be so funny at the same time.
Yeah, he got the position in the 6, and then he realized, wow, this is not a safe workplace. I realized why the last guy left. That's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. When you realize like how long people work here, you're like, oh, this is actually a problem. I think also the other funny Charlie and Q moment was the juxtaposition between the two of them with their approaches to hide and seek. I love that Charlie was like, it's just so nice to forget about the game and not think about anything. And then you've got Q being like, big mistake. If I can't find you in hide and seek, I can't find you in the game, or whatever he said.
It was incredible because it just goes to show, my theory is that Q purposely cut a clip for every single person, thinking, all right, the editors are going to pick and choose, right? Like, depending on who's going to go at the end of the episode, I'm going to give you multiple takes. If it's Liz, oh, Liz wandered out of her way to film me. Shows me she's playing the game. Big mistake. Ben, oh, Ben's hiding in plain sight. He can make to the end. Big mistake. I don't know if he thought that they'd use every single take, which had him saying, basically, no matter what anybody did, the biggest mistake these people made was agreeing to play hide and seek in the first place.
Yeah. What if somebody had sat out of hide and seek? What if they were like, you know what, I don't actually want to play? Would that be a big mistake? What would his take be on that?
Okay, that's a good point. And I think we do need to cover this because just in case future players go out there and somebody says, hey, let's play hide and seek, what do you do? Okay,
well, that's the thing. Yeah, I think that, the 40 several contestants, I don't think they're out there yet. There's a very good chance these might be the last couple of episodes they see before going out there, which I think will loom very large on their game.
Okay, so if you sit out, refusal to play the game, that means you're very independent. Big mistake. Won't follow my lead.
Yep, I think
Big
so.
mistake.
Now, could you, though, disguise it as charitability? Try to, stage for the rice negotiation. Be like, you know what? I'm going to sit out to help the betterment of the tribe. How about this? You give me your share of rice, and I will sit out of hide and seek.
I could see that working.
I don't understand that.
Where you're trying to be noble here, right? Like, okay, I will, or how about this? I will sit out
hide and seek.
I will sit out hide and seek, and I will go catch us some fish. How about that? I'm going to work for the tribe. I will keep the fire going, and so I won't participate in these reindeer games. Now, that actually might be spun in a bad way of like, not vibing with me in this moment. Way too serious, probably too serious about this game. You just made a mistake.
I wouldn't like it, especially if they said the thing about fire. I'd be like, "You're practicing fire, big mistake." That's what I would do.
Big mistake.
You could say you're practicing water. Like, right. Oh, I'm just gonna go get water. I'm doing the sweat challenge right now.
Out to look for idols, big mistake.
Which also, by the way, can we think about in retrospect now that we know everything about Jelinsky and everything about Q, that these two men were two of the worst people in Survivor history to ever do a sweat challenge?
Oh my gosh. I go back and forth on whether or not, because Jelinsky said, right, Q's the one who brought up quitting first. And now, I just counted him at first. I might believe him now.
I don't know who to believe. I feel like there's so much misinformation out there now. I'm so confused.
Including now when they're still talking shit about each other online. I think they deleted the tweets, but over the weekend, they're just taking so many shots at each other, trying to count up how many episode titles they've had versus the other person.
I'm gonna need CBS to release the tapes, the unedited sweat challenge, so that we can fully determine who was the one that actually wanted to quit? Who said it first?
Well, that's the thing. I think from the way Jelinsky spun it to me, it's that Q had, I don't know if he had outright said we could quit this thing. I think it's more so that Q had made a mention of oh man, imagine if we gave up, and Jelinsky's like, oh yes, of course. I'm glad you're thinking to say it. So it is sort of both of them were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that Q made this offhanded remark, and Jelinsky's like, aha, you're thinking what I'm thinking. It's this confirmation bias. I agree. Smash. Let's go, Q.
I love that Q's strategy this whole time has been imagine if I gave up. Just imagine, guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I don't remember which episode it was, but I want to make Kenzie feel like I'm going to quit or I'm giving up, which is again what makes me feel like, okay, this is a strategy that he's tried to employ before. So is this another version of that he's going for?
But we also have Q last episode being like, well, I threw that challenge because I want to purposely make myself vulnerable so I could see if my alliance is good, which, spoiler alert, it isn't good, and that's partially your own doing. But you kind of have to wonder, is Q writing his own revisionist history while he's out there on the island?
He's a salesman, so maybe.
You can't trust salesmen.
Exactly. First and foremost, I do have one quick thing I need to share more from Q. Because we talk about Q and what food does to him. And Q had like a rare non-survivor tweet, but I feel like I've seen it, so the rest of you have to as well.
Oh no.
Tweeting live from the
Yeah.
@Best Buy bathroom. If you ever have to take a dump, go to Best Buy. One of the cleanest bathrooms I've ever did. Number 2 in wow.
What?
So do we think this is branded first and foremost? Is this a
Is a sponsored post? This is a sponsored, but I think legally he has to say
not an ad.
Hashtag not an ad. Wow. I think that's my favorite part of the whole tweet. Wow.
Oh, this needs a little bit
Such
of
a
vigor to it, Q. How about you just add a wow at the end? But not even
Wow.
separate from the rest of the sentence. It literally reads, one of the cleanest bathrooms I've ever did, number 2 in wow.
I love the idea that Best Buy representative had to clear the tweet. They had to like read it and be like, yeah, okay, this will fly. We'll pay you.
Do you think this is how he advertises his houses?
Wow.
Just
The
a really nice
No, but
dump.
specifically like in these bathrooms. Oh man, when you drop a dookie, nobody's gonna know about it.
You should see the toilets.
They'll be playing hide and seek to look for your poop all day.
Oh, God.
I don't know which
Ew.
Best Buy he's at because I actually worked at Best Buy for a little bit, and the bathrooms were not as clean as he's trying to sell them right now. So,
Oh, interesting. Okay, maybe
Yeah,
you're saying this is why you got to go to the SIP, right? The SIP has the cleanest Best Buy bathrooms in the entire US of A.
yeah, but I don't want to get into like a Twitter war or anything. Like, I don't know. 46 seems like they might.
Be careful.
Yeah, I'm gonna tread lightly there, actually.
Yeah, 46 is kind of like
Dangerous
like
waters.
watching like the pet store from the outside and seeing like all the puppies kind of nipping and playing with each other. And you're like, oh, I'll stick my hand in there, and then like you get nipped in the process. Like, better to observe sometimes than to actively involve yourself in the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've talked a lot about Q, but I really want to talk about the conversation between Venus and Tevin. The one where Venus is essentially like, oh my God, thank you for acknowledging my move. Oh my God. Proceeds to explain to him how she got Soda out. Tevin's dying. I'm dying. Tevin is executing his best acting chops out there. That whole conversation, it's so good. Again, another reason, like Jesse, to go back to the 90 minutes comment, I was like, this is why I'm glad we have 90 minutes, because we get to see stuff like this.
That was so good. That scene was so good. And then for Tevin to then relay this message to Liz and be like, did you see that? She really thinks it was her move. And then Liz is like, you both really think it's your move. It was all around just gold.
Like, these Namis, part of me is like, why did we miss out on all this in the pre-merge? Part of me is also, I love the fact that they built up so much tension to this point where now they're just gunning for each other at every moment's notice, because this was an amazing chain of events that, to your point, Liana, I adore Venus so much. And this is like the first vote that she felt she was in on. And so she is making up for lost time. She comes back to camp and says, there's one man who said that he plays a game of honesty and loyalty, and he lied right to my face. And he's right there staring at me. How about now, Tevin? How about them apples? And then to your point, she literally, in this scene you're talking about, slides herself down the log to be like, all right, Tevin, you want to know how I did it? Like, it's almost as if Venus is like an attempted serial killer, and Tevin had already like basically slaughtered the body, and like Venus put one stab in, and she's like, aha, so you want to know my master plan? And Tevin's like, I did all the work. But then there's also someone like Liz who's like, what the hell are you doing? Why do you talk to me saying, oh, I can't believe this, Venus, who completely missed the fact that it was all my plan? Like, what a ridiculous thing to say to somebody from every perspective. That's why, again, this was such an amazing sequence where, yes, I was sad to lose Tevin this early. I do feel like he was such a very fun, exuberant, energetic character. But at the same time, the episode did such a good job of like really hoisting him by his own petard and being like, listen, dude, you want to take credit for a blindside? Do not be surprised, especially in the new era, when you end up being the next blindside.
Okay, so I've never played Survivor, but someone here has. So, Jesse, my question is for you is I feel like this has to happen a lot though, right? I mean, we see Cassie in your season taking seemingly credit for things that
Yeah,
maybe she didn't have
the
the
Ryan move.
agency over. Exactly. So, I mean, in your experience, did you feel like this was happening a lot? I feel like what's unique about Venus is she's so overt about taking credit for something, but I'm sure that this must be actually pretty common.
Yeah, so I actually did draw that comparison to like Cassidy when I was watching, and I was like, this reminds me a lot of the time where like Cassidy had thought that she had the Ryan vote. Um, and I actually did sort of the opposite. And I was like, Cassidy, it was really like good that you brought in Gabler. Like you bringing in Gabler for that Ryan vote, I sort of like talked her up as being the one to bring in Gabler and, doing that. And that also spilled over into the Noel vote, the next vote, because she sort of thought because she had brought in Gabler on the Ryan vote, she was like, oh, well, Gabler's waiting to hear from me on who. And so she kept thinking, and I was just sort of reassuring her of that. So I think this is like a very common thing, like where everybody has some sort of like role to play in a vote, right? And I think that you don't have all the information out there. And so to some extent, you do think that, you have led a vote, depending on your position. And I think that it could get a little bit cloudy, but I was never like, I don't know, like most people, the thing that makes this so fun is that everybody was wanting to claim it, right? There was nobody willing to be like, yeah, you did it. You did it. It was like everybody wanted to claim it. So I don't know. It was very interesting.
Yeah,
And
I
also be
mean,
careful because I don't want to get flamed on Twitter. When we talk 43 votes, it gets sensitive.
yeah. Well, I love it for a couple of reasons. Also, I feel like these contestants are kind of saying the quiet part out loud, especially this episode when they're like, we love ourselves. Liz saying, and I thought I had a big ego. And it seems like one of the reasons why she carries through with this entire motion is because she's like, but what's in it for Liz? Where's my big move? And I guess the question I also want to throw your way, Jesse, is that of course, I think something that loomed large on a lot of these people, they end up playing only about like 6 months or so after everything that happened with you and Cody. And we see it bear out with Soda and Tevin, with what Q attempts to do with Tiffany for 2/3 of this episode, with obviously Liz and Tevin. I mean, when you're looking at like 10-9, is this too early to betray your number one ally? Should you wait for a more opportune moment down the line?
Yeah, I think that for me, I was never going to betray Cody until towards the end. Like my whole thought process was like, let's just ride this sort of trait. I think it's invaluable to have. And me and Cody were a little bit different in the sense that at this point, I had his idol in my pocket. And so I could trust that like he's not going to really take me out unless he asks for it back. So like there was this full on trust. So we would sort of like circle the island, gather information from people, and then just recheck with each other and sort of fact check and see what everyone said. And that was like invaluable out there. So having like a number one at this stage of the game, super important. Having a number one, I feel like, and this is James might disagree, because he's been on Twitter like, you should take your allies to the end. I don't agree. I think that you got to go for it. And I would much prefer to take out my ally and lose than to get to the end and lose to my ally. So I think there is a question of timing in taking out your number one for sure.
Yeah, so of course, I think that it's this season though. I don't know. Like who's actually aligned with who? Like all I know is that I'm pretty sure that Tiffany and Kenzie are close, and Charlie and Maria.
Yeah,
And
so Charlie and Maria is like the tightest duo in this game. And then like everything else has been broken up either by force or by their own hands. Soda and Tevin are done. Tevin and Hunter are now done. Tevin and Liz are now done. Tiffany and Q, maybe, because we'll talk about the idol thing. Jesse, I'd love your thoughts on that to the point that you were making earlier. But it just seems like, I think for a lot of seasons that are touted in the new era, it's like, oh my god, it's so fluid. The dynamics are everywhere. This actually feels like the real McCoy, where yes, we're only a couple votes into like the individual game. This is the first vote that everyone did together, really, where mostly everyone was vulnerable, and it was a big old mess.
It was so much.
Disaster.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't even. What even is this season? Like, obviously, there's all the Gabon comparisons, and I probably agree with those, that it's just wackadoo, chaotic, all over the place. Like, that would be the tagline so far from the season. And do wackadoos win? I guess we'll find out.
I feel like by process of elimination, they have to. Like, are there any non-wackadoos left?
Yeah, who's the? I don't know. Charlie's a straight man, I guess. But even then, he's got his own, wackadoo-ness too. So
I would argue like maybe Maria, but did you see the secret scene this week from EW with Maria?
I didn't.
No.
So Ben opens up a little more about like the post-Tim vote and like goes to Maria and he's kind of like, I'm a little lost. I don't know what to do. You know, it was just me and Tim vibing before the game. And Maria tells him like straight to his face, well, listen, it doesn't look good that the only time you're talking to me is after your number one ally left. I'm not sure if I could trust you. And it's like, what is in the water this season?
What? What does that even mean?
Well, basically, I think it's this idea of like, oh, you only want to talk to me now that your number one ally is gone. And poor sweet Ben is like responding in tears because he talks about how like this reminds him of being back home, where like people would only want to hang out with him in the band until they made their album, and then when they broke up, it was all a ruse. Like he's saying like, oh, I can't put on a game face. I'm not a liar. He says with Tim leaving, it brings up this sick problem I've got at home of who's got me. And it doesn't help when you have someone like Maria who's like, oh yeah, too little too late, buddy.
Maria and Venus have a lot in common. I'm just going to say it. Like, if she's going to be that blunt and straightforward, someone else speaks that way too. And look, I actually appreciate that style of speaking. I like that. I don't mind that. But the way that Venus talked to Maria sounds very similar to the way that Maria is speaking to Ben, if I'm reading the secret scene correctly.
Yeah, I kind of want to just hug Ben just based on how you described the scene.
Well, on top of that, I should also not put the cart before the horse and say that the secret scene started with, I don't know why everyone on Sega has to begin conversations this way. Maria asks Ben, did Tim go home with your idol in his pocket?
Jem's influence, I tell you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I feel like the pre-merge has had like a lasting impact on the season. So Jem's influence on the whole idol on Sega, but like Jelinski has sort of been a common thread throughout the season.
That's the thing. It's like, yes, people might feel like the shtick has run thin, but like I might carry forward that Jelinski could be like the most memorable first boot we have ever had, because this man has permanently ruined a word for millions of people. And this isn't a thing within like, the deep threaded Survivor fans of, oh, stick to the plan. Are you a fan? Like, okay, I could understand why you see that type of phrase out in the wild and you're like, oh, that reminds me of Survivor. This is something that has been broadcast and mentioned on the show a few notable times. We'll see if we'll get to 7 by the end of the season. And as a result, now you have the more casual fans who might not remember these more deep-seated Survivor phrases now being like, oh yeah, that guy, he thought several was 7. And so now it has pervaded even some of like the most blink and you miss it goldfish memory type of fans. And it's such a phenomenon, especially for someone who went home 7 weeks ago, several weeks ago.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Yes. And I think that's the other thing too, is it's not something that the fans have taken and run with, right? Because I feel like a lot of the times with these types of jokes, it's some niche weird thing that the super fans find and just find so funny and run with. No, this is something that the show, while still filming, is actively referencing. The castaways are actively referencing. Like, that's the effect that this man had on the season.
And I honestly think that it's going to carry forward. Like, literally, there is someone out there who's going to play season 47 who just watched this episode and is going to call it season 47.
I mean, there's a non-zero chance that Jeff starts the season by saying, welcome to Survivor 47. Is like, get out of here with this Jelinski stuff. I'm just joking, everybody. That's what I do. I'm jokey Jeff Probst. while also sometimes razzing the shit out of people as well for their challenge performance.
Oh my gosh. That was another great moment when I think it was Q was like, well, he doesn't want a free Q skirt after Jeff is like making fun of Q. Oh, so great.
He's gonna have to pay full price from now on.
Exactly. Even though it is a buy one, get 3 free or something like that. What was the weird deal that Q was offering?
Can we talk about the infomercial for a second? Because I'm a little confused. Now, maybe the merch store can clear it up. So the Q skirt, are you meant to wear anything underneath the Q skirt? Because here's the thing about a skirt, right? Is that like it's in lieu of pants. Q was wearing the Q skirt with a pair of pants at the time, but he does say in the infomercial, which I've watched a good number of times, he does say like, men, if you don't want to wear drawers, wear a Q skirt. Because I feel like if you're not wearing something underneath it, is it not just like, I don't know, an open-faced thong at the end of the day? Where it's like an apron and nothing underneath it?
I think this goes back to the original question of, is it just a hoodie or is the hoodie just the prototype? Because potentially it's like a skirt and then just with the hood of the hoodie. Like it's an actual skirt that goes all the way around. I also, for the infomercial, I love the idea that he was like, what did he say? He's like, you don't want to carry a purse when you go to the amusement park, which I thought was a very specific example of like, why the amusement park of all places? But okay, go on.
All those amusement park goers and purse wearers.
I was like, all right, let him cook. Like, let's see. but yeah, it's impossible to understand. Okay.
I think if where we're wearing the Q skirt is at the amusement park, we really do need to get clarification on whether or not we can wear.
I don't mean stuck upside down in a loop, and my Q skirt is like over my head, which is where it should be, honestly, because it is a hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's more a skirt. Like it's got the shorts and the skirt component to it. Or you are supposed to wear pants underneath the Q skirt.
Something else I was confused about is that when asked about the price, Q said that it will, quote, cost less than a fanny pack, an extra bag, a sweater, and a blanket altogether. Now, I am no mathematician. I'm pretty sure if I'm to take all together literally, really anything in the realm of like, I don't know, $50 to $150 could probably be less than all those things combined. It doesn't feel like that great of a deal.
What a salesman. But it is buy 3, get 1 free. So,
which is all for it. But also like, is this meant to be sort of like the iPhone of garb where he's like, okay, you can't bring your fanny pack, your extra bag, your sweater, and your blanket, that it's supposed to be an all-in-one? I guess. I think to your question, Liana, it's this idea that it is a convertible hoodie. That it's okay, you can wear it if you're cold, but then also if it's hot out, but you also want like easy access to stuff from a convenient location that's located just a little bit near your crotch, get a Q skirt, buy 3, get 1 free. And so as a result, it feels like more of a Swiss Army knife piece of wardrobe.
Okay, I get it. The funny thing is, though, is hoodies have pockets typically, right, where the pouch would be. So I'm just curious how that like added functionality works if it's a multiple thing in one. Look, if I was on Shark Tank or Dragon's Den or whatever, I would be like, like I need to see the prototype. I need to see the prototype to invest. Okay, but I believe in him.
Would it be wrong to wear a hoodie with a Q skirt? Like, is that not okay? Or like, is that, I don't know.
Okay. Yes, that's a great point. Like, is that a fashion faux pas to do both at the same time?
It does feel a little redundant, but like then you're really covered, right? And listen, if it's buy 3, get 1 free,
might as well.
Yeah, if you have 4 handy, you have to make use of it. Like layer them up, tie one to each arm.
I mean, more pockets. Throw on some cargo shorts too. Like, think about how many things you could carry.
It's gonna be a hell of a trip to the amusement park after that.
Yeah, I think Q needs to hold a Q&A is what I'm figuring out here.
Before we move on, Jesse, I'd be remiss to ask, speaking of Q, as we have been this entire time, him telling Maria, like, don't worry, I've got you, to the point that I'll tell you Tiffany has an idol, but I still want to get rid of her. I mean, again, beautiful poetry where last episode he's like, Charlie, 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 you
Don't say
dumbass kid. You're getting too emotional. You're revealing too many secrets. You got to hold stuff close to the chest in your pockets, in your Q skirt. And then it all comes forward when that person, Charlie, that approaches Tiffany at Tribal Council to be like, oh, by the way, Q told me unprompted that you have an idol. It's just an incredible thing. So, Jesse, I mean, obviously, you were the keeper of a couple of secrets, especially involving idols. What did you make of Q's move here on top of all the other stuff he was doing?
I think information, if you don't have an idol yourself, information is like a powerful thing. So telling people about other people's idol is a good thing. This was his number one ally 10 minutes, like at least in the episode, like 10 minutes prior, though. So,
probably in real time. Let's be completely honest.
Probably in real time. So I think I'm not totally against the idea of telling people about other people's idols, especially if they're not totally with you. I think it's the fact that this was his ride or die in a sense, up until this episode. So it's it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot to process.
It feels like a bit of an understatement to call Q impulsive, but perhaps that would be the word that I would use to describe this decision. It felt very impulsive.
I want to know how many subscription services Q signed up for, and it's trying to cancel of I gotta have this thing. Great. Maybe that's why he's so good at infomercials. Do you think how many things has he bought off of TV just by watching somebody sell it to them?
Well, it is QVC. He was like, that's me.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. He's trying to make it happen. This was all a big plan. Everyone's saying Banu shouldn't be on if he's competing for the SIA money. Should Q have been on the show if he just wants to streamline this into a career of schlepping stuff out on QVC for the rest of his life?
You got to think long term, right? Jesse, if you had thought long term, think about all the things you could be doing after Survivor. Look at all the things you could be selling online or on infomercials in the middle of the night. Lucky you.
I never sold a pillow. I really should have. I should, I think that somebody is gonna next season probably pitch their pillow while they're on the show.
If we could rewind time here for a second, smash the hourglass like Jelinski did. Jesse, if you had the opportunity to come up with an in-season merch item, if you got the clearance to say you can find one item branded to yourself that you could put out at any point during the season, what would it be?
Ooh. Jesse jacket, Jesse jeans, I want something that just kind of flows. I want something that just sort of flows off the tongue. So Jesse jeans? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So the Q skirt doesn't inherently have
Jesse Jorts.
You can wear them under your Q skirt. Yes.
But you wear the jorts as a sweater.
Oh, obviously.
Like a crop top?
You have to put a spin on it is what I'm learning from Q. I'm learning a lot. So.
Yeah, you just have to take a normal piece of clothing and flip it upside down. That's how you Qify your wardrobe.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's start getting into our typical B&B fare, because we do have to talk about the boot from this episode. I mean, it was a big one. Again, after all this malarkey at Tribal Council, we do have to talk about the fact that Tevin also got flipped on by his number one ally after he himself flipped on his own number one ally last episode. And Tevin was such an enigma, I think, on the season between his very unique personality, obviously, and kind of this odd position where he was apparently the kingpin of nominee, even though they didn't really show it, and had this sort of weird relationship with Venus where they were adversaries, but then we just saw this dynamic where she's like, I'll bring you in a little secret here, Tevin, about how I got rid of your number one ally, culminating in him going out in this very confusing blindside that had him muttering, "This does not rock," in response to Ben. Liana, how much did you rock with Tevin in the preseason? How far did you think he'll go?
Yeah, I had Tevin making the finale, actually. So I had very high hopes for him, and I said that he would ride throughout the season with his tight alliance of Liz and Soda. Gag. Similar to his faves, Marianne and Cerie, his winning personality allows him to create tight bonds with people across all tribes. But similar to his other fave, Carolyn, he gets 0 votes at the final tribal council.
Ooh!
Turns out people felt burnt by his backstabbing and didn't respect his game. To pass the time, Tevin will cast and direct the members of the Merge tribe in his own production of Beauty and the Beast. Charlie specifically references this in his final voting confessional, stating he did not want to play Lumiere. He wanted to play Gaston.
Jesse, you talk about like drama over 43 voting. Imagine.
What's so funny is when I read this back, I was like, I could see it.
Yeah.
I was like, I believe it. Yeah.
No, you know what it'd be? It would be Q 100%. Like, I'm not the Beast. I'm not Gaston. Big mistake.
Big mistake. Huge. All right. His allies, Tevin's allies, were Liz and Soda, obviously, and his enemy was Charlie because of the Beauty of the Beast fiasco.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, listen. I made it abundantly clear a few months ago about the role I cast Tevin in. This was even though Brand Steele determined the vast majority of how this season would go, this was my winner of Survivor 46. Sit down if you're not already as I spin you a yarn, the tale of how Tevin Davis won Survivor 46. Tevin will provide both one of the first confessionals of the season, as well as the first musical moment of the season, channeling his best Wanda Shirk in a song he wrote about Survivor. Tevin clicks with Soda on second -1 of the season, not sure what that means, due to their shared energy and love of music. As a result, the two dictate the entire pre-merge for Nami, as they'll chop anyone who speaks up about their power, like Venus. This is best represented when Tevin is told by Randon that he's found the tribe's idol. And Mergatory, we're treated to a montage of Tevin connecting with everybody in one-on-one scene studies. We'll see him chat to Q about being from the South, Ben for his musical tastes, and Mariah for their shared love of role-playing, in a manner of speaking. So, when the post-merge momentum shifts to the Siga culling, Tevin finds himself well ingrained in the pecking order. He sets himself up with several social shields in Soda and Kenzie, well-liked people he hopes will get taken out over him. The end game is truly when Tevin steps into the spotlight. Once they hit the new beach, it's like a brand new him. The tightest twosome of the game turns on each other at 5, and Tevin wins out by getting the Sigas to take out Soda over him. Then, at 4, he gets pitted against Kenzie in fire-making, but pulling from the strength of his late father, he finds the literal fire within to get rid of the social butterfly. Of course, he comes alive on the stage of Final Tribal Council. He walks through how he was somehow able to be a friend to everyone and an enemy to no one. Tevin brings the house down with his 11 o'clock number, where he not only reveals he's an actor, parentheses, the reverse Welchel, but also him communing with his father the day before. As a result, Tevin gets a literal standing ovation from the jury and a near-unanimous vote in the process. But the biggest surprise for Tevin comes after the season, when Sia reveals she wants to collaborate with him on a track, #7, #several. His closest ally was Soda, and his enemy was the record company.
Oh
What?
So I not only thought Tevin would do well, I thought he could parlay this into a Hollywood music career.
Could still happen.
That wasn't even just a prediction about his Survivor career. Like, that was like his life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike was like, where he'll meet the love of his life.
Honestly, if I had more time, I think I would have written out the rest of how it goes. Yeah.
When was this written? Because how did you #7 and several? Like,
Okay, so I was there for the first 3 days. I did get to witness in all of its glory. Jeff, I'm pretty sure 7 means several, which was just... I should have known, I think, at the moment how unbelievable this season would be. Because that also came out of nowhere. I had no knowledge of, like, oh, well, Jelinski also quit a task because he thinks that 7 means several. But I was there for it, so I made their ship name between Sia and Tevin is 7, and then that became several.
Gotcha. Okay. I feel like you have an unfair advantage in the fact that you actually got to go out there. So I'm starting to take away points from you.
Oh, really? It wasn't when I forecasted Tevin's next 5 years of his life in addition to his Survivor game that he never ended up winning?
Yeah, Mike's out here making the 5-year plan for Tevin. It's like, all right, Tevin, here are your life goals. Go ahead.
Well, I think that Liana was really close with the ride with Liz and Soda. It seems like he wanted to ride with Liz and Soda until he didn't want to ride with Soda anymore, because that's, the rides aren't very long in season 46. They're very short-lived rides.
It's the amusement park.
At the amusement park.
It is. Yeah. And I was trying to take notes. The Beauty and the Beast thing was, pretty theatrical, and I loved that. And I do think that his tribal was pretty theatrical in a way. It was sort of, a play, and there's some images floating around that look like they're all actors, on the stage. Mike, you got a little bit carried away with the winner prediction here. But I will say the fact that you called that he would get one of the first confessionals, and he got the first confessional, that was an amazing sort of opening to Survivor 46. You called his sort of like making music out there. I don't know if you were at camp and you heard that song, like heard them singing already.
No.
But I'm pretty sure that he's getting some money out off of that track that they.
Oh, would you look at that? Tevin's gonna build a music career.
What?
Survivor, you say?
What?
Yeah, and Jeff was saying something about they had to like do some sort of thing with the song that they came up with. That's really close. You did say that Randon had the idol, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He did turn on Soda, depending on who you ask.
Right, exactly. Depending on which narrative you go with.
Yeah. Ooh. I'm sorry, Liana. I'm gonna let you down again. I'm gonna let you down again. I was your winner pick in season 43. I let you down. I'm gonna let you down here again.
I'm used to it by now, Jesse. Thanks.
Thank you. Is this where I mentioned you were also my winner pick?
Shut up, Mike. You don't count.
I just let everyone down.
No, never. Especially now. You've been let up. You're like Q jumping out of the water into the water.
We'll make you your own B&B pillow, Jesse. It's okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's get into our game for this week. Look, there's so much to talk about in this episode, but during the immunity challenge, Jeff asked Tevin, what kind of bird would you be? How could we not make this an opportunity to bring in a staple at this point of the B&B and have our now biannual What Animal is Each Survivor contestant? Truly, for one of the most wild seasons we've had in a while in terms of cast, it only makes sense we compare them to animals. Now, I say we, and it is because the three of us are at the whimsy. We are going to cede time, much like everyone else did to Q, of the man that will take over the proceedings in this podcast. Always thrilled to welcome in here the master of beasts himself, the one, the only, Omer Zahir.
Kaka, what are you talking about? I've been here the whole time. I've just been in your Q skirt. I just popped out.
In the little pouch.
Yeah, I was in the little pouch like a little baby kangaroo.
Yeah.
Which may or may not be relevant. We'll see.
Omer, what did you think about that? Is this just a way for us to become closer to like the animals from which we sprung forth from if we're walking around in Q skirts with pouches in front of us?
Oh, 100%. I think that we all need to get closer to our roots. And if anyone was ever wondering what Mike is, the three of you actually have the honor, some could say, or the opposite of an honor. What's the opposite of the honor?
Dishonor?
The dishonor? Yeah, I suppose so.
Shame?
The dishonor of having me give you animals. Do you all remember your animals?
I do.
What was
It
it?
was a bird.
Okay, well, we'll find out. Okay, first of all,
I-
a bird. There's 10,000 bird species. You actually disgust me. You're not my mother. You
I-
never were.
I do recall that I was a meerkat.
Okay, wow, Michael Bloom. Good.
I mean, it helps when it, to Liana's point, it is not like a super specific species that I was associated with. It helps.
Okay. So we actually know we may have a little bit of a problem for my PowerPoint, which I will upload, but it turns out that what's this platform we're on? What is
StreamYard.
this? StreamYard. StreamYard censoring size content. My PowerPoint's too big to upload, so I'm gonna have to delete some of these visual clues, and then I will get into it. But while I'm doing that, I would like to say the rules. So I've prepared 18 animals, not just birds, because we want to be inclusive this time. Last year was the bird season. We're going back to the all animals. So that's mammals, reptiles, amphibians. We have it all here today.
I was gonna say no all amphibian season considering the gecko theming.
Do you know that a gecko is not an amphibian, you clod?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Get it together.
I'm disgusted right now. Between you and Liana, Jesse, you're gonna win this. And you know what? You've already done better in this game than you did on Survivor. You're guaranteed top 3. So
Oh my God.
Well, Omer could never, so.
yeah, it's true. It's true.
You really are the cue right now, just coming and saying a bunch of and we're just all reacting with dumbfounded reactions.
Well, you know what? I'm ready. I have my my sass, my DP that you just heard there, and my duck, as you can see.
Yeah, you describe what exactly this is? I would say for the audio listeners, but I'm watching it and I'm still confused as to where it is in proximity to you.
It's just a wooden duck, and it's definitely on the desk here. And it is a present that I got from the country of Holland. So I'm not going to say who gave it to me.
Gave you the gift.
Yeah. It was a diplomatic gift, a diplomatic gift for all of us. Gotcha. So anyways, with these 18 contestants, I've also prepared a list of 6 decoy animals in addition to their regular animals. And you have had a chance to review these, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So each we'll start off probably with Jesse because he is the guest here today. And what we'll do is I'll give you the animal and you have to tell me which one of these 18 people is most represented by the animal. And because of that, if you get it wrong, we'll move on to the next person and we'll go in a clockwise rotation. So Jesse, Mike, Liana. Now, if, however, you are unsure about the animal, you can always ask for a clue. You can ask for help, a shot in the dark, some could say. And I will give you a hint about 3 descriptors that match both the person and the animal. And from there, you'll get less points, though. So if you take the hint, you'll get 2 points instead of 3. I will say most people, they're going to need the hint, and that's fine.
I wrote it down. I'm the red-tailed hawk or something.
Yeah. Okay, it's nice of you to check now. You should
I wrote it down.
In your memory. I don't care.
I know what I was, and I know the exact reason why.
Exactly.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
So I have my compilation here. This is young Mike. You should actually, if you're listening to this, you should be watching the video.
This is a picture of me from 2010.
Yeah, well, it's hot. We're putting it up. And then we have a picture
20 years old in this picture.
Okay, well, you can't match Liana and Puya's micropipette there. So, yeah.
Okay, well, now, no, she's holding a mic. Don't say Puya's micropipette. That has a different meaning.
I said what I said. And here's Jesse right before he lost fire.
I was crying a lot more before I lost fire. All right.
So Mike was the meerkat. You were the red-tailed hawk, and then Jesse was the wolf. And you know what? I try not to give people double animals, but we may encounter that tonight. Not necessarily with you 3, but with somebody from the past. And it is what it is, and you're just gonna have to get over it. But I have reasons, okay? And so, also as a disclaimer to all the Survivor 46 contestants that may be listening, every animal I've given out today is amazing. I love every animal that I put out here. So if you have an issue with it, that's on you. You don't understand the essence or the aura of the animal if you don't like what you got. And some of it is image. Like some people look like they're animals. Some people don't look like they're animals, but their aura or their gameplay or their personality it is. So it's a combination of all of these factors and what feels right. All right. So these are the 24 animals we have out here. You know, I have an infographic. We can send it out. I have a little GIF, not a GIF, a picture. But anyways, let's get started. So this would be the golden pheasant. I'm going to use this as our example because I've already put this out on Twitter and it's unfair advantage. So this is the golden pheasant. If you ask for a clue, it would be gregarious, audacious, and engaging. And then if you were to say to me, that is the dearly departed Tevin Davis, you would be correct.
Oh.
So that's how you would get your point. So Jesse, your first one today is the cockatiel. First of all, do you know what a cockatiel is?
I've seen them in cages.
Okay, well, maybe you should have engaged a little bit more because you would have a better idea.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse.
Yeah,
I just want you to know that you kind of screwed me over by tweeting out whatever you tweeted out earlier because Tevin was the only one that I was like dead sure of. I was like, that is. Oh, you screwed me. And I'll remember
you can blame Mike Bloom. He told me not to use that one because it's already out there in the ethos.
I literally
Wow.
said absolutely nothing. This came out of nowhere.
Why would I lie about that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
You really are cute. Just coming in.
Would you like Jesse to take the clues or would you like to guess?
You know what? I think I'm going to employ some strategy here. I'm not going to take a clue because it loops back around, right?
Yeah. Well, no.
No.
You'll get a chance. It will, but you'll only get one guess each on this animal.
Oh, okay. So it's not like if they both fail, it comes back to me and we get
Correct.
Yeah, it's not going to be like we keep going around until somebody gets it right.
Right. Well, then there goes that. Okay.
What will the master of strategy do now?
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with. I have no basis for this.
So maybe
I don't want to give the clue because then that gives them an advantage. And
yeah,
it
but you
rolls-
go first.
Yeah, see, you think that, but also that's
All
the
right,
game
fine,
show in the
give
past. We
me
have
a
no
clue.
idea.
Let's run the
Okay,
clue.
here's the hint: musical, Sweet BB Angel, conscientious.
Sweet BB Angel.
Yeah, so pure.
Is that a textbook description of this animal?
Yeah, my
Not in
description
school.
is what a pure little angel. There's no bad in there, you know.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go based off musical, and because I do know Soda is a sweet BB Angel, so I'm gonna go with Soda here.
You are wrong. All right, Mike Bloom for the steal, 1 point.
Yeah, listen, there is somebody that is musical, and I love Soda, but Soda had a little bit of bubbliness to her and a little bit of bite as well, as we saw with her interaction with the Venus. There is someone that is such a sweet baby angel that when he approached Maria in a secret scene this week, she outright accused him of only going to her when his closest ally was gone. It's got to be Ben.
Yes, and my fourth description was shred, and I couldn't put it because it was too obvious. So Mike gets a point. Congratulations, you're on the board. Stolen. You just gablered. My God. Okay, next.
Gay bird.
It is Ben. What a sweet BB angel. All right. Next up is
And honestly,
Mike.
like the cockatiel, I would even say without the clue, like it kind of looks like a mohawk that it has, which I feel like is very of the style of music that Ben plays in.
Yes, this is true. And cockatiels are one of the most musical birds of all time. If you to put your little fingers to Google right in between all this, they
Please
can
don't
do the
use that term.
Star Wars sounds, and the Addams Family. They do that a lot too. All right, llama.
Okay, the Tony Vlacho special. I'm gonna ask for the clue on this one because I also want to find out about like the personality of llamas.
You're feckless. Okay. Hilarious, expressive, and uninhibited.
Okay, expressive and uninhibited sounds like the majority of this cast, so it's not helping a lot. I am going.
You wanted another one like musical?
I mean, that certainly was a nice thing here. hilarious. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with. I'll go with Liz. I don't know why, but Liz was the first one that came to mind for me. Liz the
Absolutely
llama.
not. Liana for the steal.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going with expressive. Who is extremely expressive? And that person. I was hoping it would come to me before I got to that part of the sentence, but it didn't. So I'm going to go with Q.
You are wrong. All right,
Oh.
Jesse for the steal.
Okay. I am gonna go. I'm stuck between, I think, two people here.
Well, tell us, because it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to get it after you.
Exactly.
I feel like it's between Banu and Jelinsky.
Okay.
I feel like Jelinsky was pretty expressive in the short amount of time that we saw him, and I would venture to call him hilarious. Banu was hilarious in his own way. And he was very expressive. I'm going with Banu.
You are wrong. You're all wrong. But maybe if Jesse had gone with his original pick, Soda, you would have been correct.
I was thinking Soda as well.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know what? Soda, you could be an alpaca, you could be a llama, you could be it all. I'm fine with both. And you're an icon, you know? What a classic figure in movie history is the llama. The Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah.
Yes.
The thing with that skinny guy, like looks like Drew
What?
with Tina.
Oh, Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes, yes,
Oh.
yes.
I thought we were
Cultural
still talking about the Emperor's New Groove, and I was like,
No. No. Okay, Liana. You're not
Okay.
really, do it for the girls. Come on, get the dingo.
Oh, no.
It may just eat your baby. Who's to say?
I'm so glad the Australian accent made its way into this.
Okay, well, since it's going really well, I'm gonna ask for the hint.
All righty. The hint for dingo is sociable, pack hunter, but not to be confused with regular hunter, and sneaky, and it
Uh-huh.
might eat your baby.
Is that an official part of the clue,
No,
or are
no,
you
no,
just
no,
saying
no,
that because of that story? That's
Yeah,
actually really
is that character
horrendous?
assassination?
Yeah. No, this person would not eat your baby. I'm sure of that.
Okay, I'm trying to think of who is sneaky. I'm gonna go with Gem because she did the
Ooh.
idol thing, and that's
Mm.
pretty
A very
sneaky.
good guess, but that would be wrong.
Okay.
Well, let's move on to Jesse.
Ooh, okay. I'm thinking that sneaky. I'm gonna go between Tiff and Kenzie because they were pretty sneaky in the pre-merge with the whole thing with the fake idol and Jess. Tiff.
Jesse stole 1 point from Liana. Excellent
Nice.
work.
No.
Yeah, that was great
Trade
work.
again.
Okay, and my thought here is that the dingo they work in groups to take down their prey, and the way that Tiffany, Kenzie, and Q work together to vote out the other three was pretty sociable and sneaky. And
Yeah.
so Tiff is probably, I think, the one, like she had the most social bonds within that group, so she's the alpha of that pack. Don't tell Q I said that because it would be a mistake for me to say that. But nevertheless, it is what it is. All right.
And I do think that Tiffany, I mean, I guess apparently she made this big mistake by going after Maria, who is in the 6, but it does feel like she's someone that like is clearly wanting to find a group and kind of ride with it. That was her from the beginning with Kenzie and Q. And so she does seem like one of the more like group minded out of those 3 Yanus.
And also, maybe Maria is not a dingo to Tiffany in Tiffany's eyes. Maybe Maria is an emu, and that is dinner, baby. So who's to
Ooh.
say? All right, back to Jesse.
Yes.
The
I'm in the
Moluccan
lead.
cockatoo.
Another bird.
Ah,
Oh
interesting.
God, I don't know anything about them.
Well, if there was only a way to find out a little bit more.
There's also decoys, though, right?
No. So these are not the decoys. These ones
Okay.
have.
There'll be a
That'll
point I
come
think
into play later.
where we have to guess what the
Swap.
animal is based on the
Yeah.
contestant.
Yes.
Okay. I'm confused, but I'm gonna roll with this.
So later, because
We'll figure it out.
when there's 6 people left, we will switch to showing the person, and then you'll have to guess from the list of animals.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Clue.
Okay, so this was a visual clue, and because of my PowerPoint's inability to upload a size of that size because StreamYard is oppressive, I will have to somewhat act it out. So not only is the
Yes.
Moluccan cockatoo vivacious, expressive, and loud, it's also, this was a video of a Moluccan cockatoo running around the floor of running between all the rooms. You can find it on YouTube. It's very funny. Just Google Moluccan cockatoo screaming and yelling. And he's yelling, pork pie, Sarah, football, rah, rah, I go to work, blah. You know, he was all over the place. And that is something reminiscent of something we saw, you know?
I'm so happy the videos didn't work.
No, the reenactments are worth the
Yeah,
price of
so
admission.
much better. So much better.
All right. I think that this calls to mind the moment when Banu was running around to everybody right before his vote out. And I'm going to go with Banu.
They're also the loudest bird in the entire world. They are louder than a jet engine, and you are correct. And interestingly, this is 2 points for Jesse. This is huge.
Never been in the lead.
Carolyn was also the Moluccan cockatoo. So Banu joins Carolyn's flock. And before you say, ew, all you people at home in your cars or wherever you listen to this, if you're saying, Banu and Carolyn are nothing alike, first of all, that's on you for being racist and assuming that all cockatoos are the same. They can have individual personalities that are also expressive and vivacious and loud, and they're different. And also, I thought to myself, okay, you already picked a Moluccan cockatoo for Carolyn. Should I just pick another type of cockatoo? But the thing is, like, there are so many other types, but none of them are Banu, but this one.
Mhm.
So, you know, am I going to compromise my integrity for you people on the line right now? Absolutely not. All right.
I love it.
Yeah, you tell him, Omer.
Yeah.
It feels very appropriate, though. I think both of them do have these like very expressive, loud personalities. We sort of see the alpha and the omega in terms of how they did it in the game based on that.
Yes, exactly right. I was going to make another comparison, but I will not because I know better. Okay, next. The porcupine.
Ah, the porcupine.
Mr. Mike.
I'll go with the clue here.
All right.
See,
Well,
it looks way behind the spot.
right now, for the people listening, we have 3 points Jesse, 1 point Mike, 0 points Liana. She's not doing it for the win. All right.
Hey.
Porcupine plays their own way, independent and unbothered. And you know what? They don't need to be bothered because they have quills. You try to eat a porcupine, you're dead.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, it's tough because I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's just from like an appearance perspective, but what you're describing is, because I was going to say Venus, but unbothered is not the way to describe Venus. Venus is somebody who was, in fact, very bothered by a lot of the ways that people were playing in this game. So I'm going to go with somebody who was pretty unbothered by everything up until this episode and definitely plays their own way. I'm going to go with Liz.
That's a very good guess, but that is incorrect. So we're going to move on to Liana.
No! Oh my God, Liz was my thought too, Mike, actually. I was like, yeah.
So maybe I'm
totally
wrong.
fits.
No, I'm not wrong. I know what I'm doing.
No, of course. Omer, you could never be wrong. Then, okay. Now I'm stuck with
And
the
actually,
sort of like,
Liz was very bothered by the way Tevin took credit.
Right, I said up until this episode,
Okay.
she's been very
yeah.
unbothered. She sat back in the shelter
So
rather
what a
than looking
great
for an idol.
claim for me to pick Liz for unbothered when this just aired, Michael Bloom.
Unbothered asterisk, except for the last week, except for 1/8 of her
gaslighting
airtime.
me into thinking I was wrong. All right.
Liana,
Okay.
don't pick Venus. Don't do it.
okay, you know what? I hear you, Jesse. I will not pick Venus. I'm going to pick
That's why he's a master.
Hunter.
Ooh, another good guess, but it is
He's
wrong.
unbothered.
Well, when you hear it, you'll know why. All right.
And actually, he was
Okay, you
quite
gonna guess Venus?
considering that he infamously quipped, "This is the dumbest thing ever." I think he was also quite bothered with everything happening last episode.
Well, I am gonna make a master play here. I clearly convinced Liana to not pick Venus.
Clearly.
So I'm gonna go with Venus.
Oh, that is also wrong. But good guess. The correct answer is ya boy Tim. So
Oh,
yeah, so let me tell you this. You saw the way Tim played out there. He didn't give a shit what everybody else wanted to do.
he also
was
didn't
like,
take a shit either.
"Oh, am I going to make an alliance of 6 and then not tell the other person? Sure." And you're upset by that? I'm doing what I want, you know? Like he just played his own way. Didn't make a lot of sense, but he did it the Shamar way, and that's well, no, not Shamar way. But
Would Shamar be a porcupine?
you know, I'll have to think about that a little bit more. But
Yeah, when we do the Survivor Caramoan rewind that everyone's requesting we do in the off
Yep.
season, Liana.
oh yeah,
Yep,
okay,
yep,
sure.
yep.
When you do that, I will give them all animals. But Tim, you know, he just was unbothered until he got voted out, and it's like, oh well, you know, maybe you should have, I guess, not. Actually, he did fine. You know, you can't predict Q all the time. It is what it is. But he definitely, you know, it was very unique to be like, I'm going to make an alliance of 6, pull in Maria, and then not tell her at all, and then be like, that wasn't weird for me not to tell her. That was weird for you to think I would tell her. You know, that was something else.
Makes sense.
All right, who? It's on Liana's turn
It's
now,
me.
right?
Yeah.
The red-eared slider.
Ooh.
Okay.
I saw one of these yesterday in the clinic.
And is it okay? Or...
yeah, she's fine.
Okay, I'll take the hints. Oh, okay.
This is fearless, authentic, not afraid to bite, do whatever they want.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm good to go with Q.
That is wrong. Moving on, Jesse for the steal.
Me? It's my turn again.
Yeah. For the steal.
So, fearless, authentic, not afraid to bite, does whatever they want. Ooh. I'm just gonna keep saying Venus until I'm right.
You are wrong, but we will go on to Mike.
What? Those are my top 2.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, these are good ways to describe them, but I will go with fearless, authentic, not afraid to bite, and does whatever they want. I mean, I'm pretty sure hiding a beware advantage and making your tribe dig in the sand for days on end constitutes being fearless and doing whatever you want. So I'll go with Gem here.
And not to mention putting sand in the rice, or sand in the food, that was chaotic behavior. Yes, Michael for the steal. Gem didn't give a shit, and she not only hid the beware advantage for them to all dig up, much like a turtle is trying to dig for their eggs during mating season. She also didn't even care that it she was like, I would do it again, you know, and whatever, you know, playing her own way. We got a lot of that this season, so got to respect it. All right, we are back to Jesse. The hippopotamus.
Aww.
Oh god.
Ooh.
Okay. Just give me the clue. Just give me a clue.
All right.
Yeah, that's about how this goes.
Can you name a single fact about hippos?
They eat people.
They don't eat people. They kill people.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Thank you for creating that distinction.
They'll murder, but not out of any
They're not cannibals,
perverse
for
idea
God's
to eat
sake.
someone.
Jesse, do you know anything about hippos before I give you the clue?
I know that they sort of lay under the water like an alligator and then come up sometimes.
Oh, that's a little triggering, isn't it? All right.
Yeah. So.
Dominant, multifaceted, chaotic.
Dominant, multifaceted, chaotic. Okay. All right. I got this. Dominant. Q wants to be in a dominant position at all times. He's got a lot of faces to him too, you know? He's also very chaotic, as we saw. I'm going to go with Q.
You are correct.
Yes.
That is 2 points for Jesse. He is pulling ahead here. He has 5 points. Michael has 2. Liana, it doesn't matter. You're doing great. So a hippo, they really sometimes it's just hard to know what they're gonna do, you know, like this is an animal that's a herbivore theoretically, but will it randomly kill a crocodile and randomly kill other hippos and sometimes eat a little bit of it? Yeah. And do we know why? Absolutely not. It didn't make any sense. And then, at other times they shit in their own environment. They like projectile all over the place in where they're swimming. Like, I don't get it, but like it works. There's some method to that madness, because maybe it sets up an ecosystem of microorganisms that benefit the hippo. Like, what is going on? So, and a hippo is, you look at the wrong way, you're voted out of Survivor, or you're voted out of life. You have to play when you go on the river in Africa where there's hippos. You cannot just go in and do your own thing. You can't play your own game. You have to play the hippo game, because if the hippo doesn't want you in that water, it's going to kill you, or at least maim you severely. So, if you got to play the Q game, you got to play the hippo game, and that is what it is. That's power. I love that. All right. Great work, Jesse.
Is a hippo one of the big five in Africa? Because I also feel
I'll
like
have to count them all out, because it would be an elephant, a leopard, a Cape buffalo.
You know what? I think it's the rhino instead of the hippo. But I would say Q very much has that like king of the jungle mentality. I know that he calls himself the mob boss, but either way, it's that idea of leadership, and it feels very reminiscent of any sort of large jungle creature that wants command of their domain.
Yeah, and did you hear about that guy who kept a pet hippo? Which was insane, by the way. He raised it from a baby, and they were fine, and then all of a sudden one day he just killed him. But you know what? That was on the man for doing that.
The hippo killed the man, not the man killed the hippo.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
The other one would have been more upsetting, I think. But the hippo just one day was like, fuck you, and just killed him. And you know what? That's on that person for keeping a hippo, because you should. This is not a pet. It's not a pet.
Right.
I feel like instead of the tail, the scorpion, and the frog, it should be of the man and the hippo now. Of just be careful what you wish for,
Yeah, don't kidnap a hippo from the wild and then raise it to be your own, because you know what will happen. That's the message of the story.
It's good.
All right, Michael Bloom. Look at this little ermine.
Ermine. That sounds like what I almost named my son. All right, tell me about Ermine.
Okay, well, the ermine is unexpected. It has a killer instinct. It's fierce, but it also has a soft side. So one contextual story. Well, this has nothing to do with the person, but this is a cool story about an ermine. I was working at a zoological institution once, and then we came in the morning, and then we were going to do some work, and then they were like, "We have to change plans today because 13 out of the 17 birds in this aviary are dead. And we found their bodies." And then they set out a trap, and it was this little thing over here that did it.
Oh my god!
Really?
Yeah, he didn't eat them.
It's so cute.
He just killed them all with a smile on his face.
Oh my god.
Well, I will go with somebody who also likes to do things with a smile on their face, and the pure irony is this thing is white as snow, completely unblemished. But I will go with somebody who is inked to the gods. I will go with Kenzie. Because I think she is someone who mermaid dragon, right? A little unexpected. Killer instinct as shown from what she did with Jess, but has a soft side in the way she supported Ben a couple episodes ago.
That was such a good sell. I almost want to give it to you, but it was not meant to be Kenzie. But those things, these things could apply to Kenzie, but Kenzie's animal is more Kenzie, and you'll see that later. Liana,
okay. See, Kenzie was my first thought too. I'm going to go with Maria.
Nope. Jesse for the steal.
Gosh. Okay. Let me check my list here. I did say I was going to keep saying Venus until the end of time.
Now you're sounding like Survivor Twitter.
Okay. Has killer instinct, but a soft side, unexpected. Ooh. Who do we have left? Okay, let me see.
We've got about half the cast left, I believe.
Liz.
No. Okay, so, I have to say, I'm surprised nobody got this, but to be fair, maybe the story of me telling you about the ermine that killed those 13 birds was misleading, because that's quite an effective and efficient killer, whereas this person is not effective in trying to kill, but they're certainly trying to do it. That this one, Jesse, is Venus. So yeah.
So
you look at Venus, you think one thing, you get something very different. She's the one that's coming in being like, we're not voting out Soda, we're not voting out Charlie, we're going for Tevin without mercy. And it didn't work, but she was like, right in there to try to make the kill. She has, a fierce attitude, but she does have a softer, more sensitive side that, clearly the people out there do not see, but we
There's a
see
little
it
bit
at
of Canadian
home.
bias here, Omer.
Perhaps, but who's to say? I think it's who's to say.
Uh-huh.
Are you saying that Venus doesn't have a soft side, Michael Bloom? Is that you on the
No,
record? Because Twitter will come for you.
No, I saw. Listen, I was the first one to see her
What's that?
soft side.
Okay.
Yeah, clip that, clip it, ship it.
Alrighty. I'm so disappointed in Jesse for that one. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't believe it.
The one time.
The one time he didn't choose Venus. All right. It's the meerkat who's joining the little group, the little gaggle, the meerkat manor.
Oh my god, it's gonna be my meerkat manor.
Yes, it's so cute. You get a buddy.
Yes. Well, isn't it Liana's turn?
It's Liana, yeah, because I just did
It's
her
mine?
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay.
So
Am I
who's
about to
most like
insult Mike
me?
Bloom? Okay. I'm gonna just straight guess on this
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
You
I'm
need those 3
guessing-
points.
I know. I'm guessing Charlie.
What? She got it. Yes.
You know what? Who's most like Mike Bloom? That is what was in my brain. Thank God, Mike, you're a meerkat, because it was Charlie without
He also
question
looks
to
like
me.
a meerkat.
Right?
This is one of the ones where the imagery matches the animal. And I'm sorry, Charlie, if you don't like that, you're wrong. I mean,
They're cute.
yeah, they're cute.
So
It's a
cute.
meerkat.
Yeah.
Michael Bloom, you also look like a meerkat. Yeah,
Listen.
You're all part of the group. So it was observant, social butterfly, charismatic, Michael Bloom.
Mike Bloom.
Oh man, talk about
So-
feeding egos of me being used as an adjective.
Yeah, you're so adjective. So this is the new Meerkat Manor. Now, I'd like to know if you guys can have a spin-off and be as dramatic as the real Meerkat Manor was. Who are you kicking out of your group? I'd like to know.
I think it's going to be anyone that's not a fan of Taylor Swift. I think we both live in Taylor Swift specific households.
Oh, well, you know what? Meerkat Manor is basically Survivor, so I guess we'll find out.
Interesting. Do you think people in the off season, if they're missing Survivor, should check out Meerkat Manor?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And then we can also rank the players on Meerkat Manor in a rank down or rank up or whatever. On your podcast, we can do an out play out Meerkat Manor.
We could do a draft of all the meerkats.
Yeah, and compare them to Survivor players.
That's what I was
is
gonna
their
say.
moment. This is their
It's
moment.
what human are they?
Yeah, can we do the opposite now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Except the picture of the meerkat will all be the same meerkat.
I will also say Charlie
who's
looks
racist now.
I think Charlie has one of the starkest differences between his cast photo and how he looks on the island. I'm not sure if it's just like the elements, the way he looks with the beard, but like I feel like he looks so different in this photo than how we usually see him.
Like which one are you saying one is ugly and one isn't?
No, I'm saying
Like,
they're both incredibly beautiful in each of their own way.
Oh, okay.
I'm not getting canceled twice in one podcast.
Okay, I'm going to preface this by saying I love Charlie. He looks like a pencil in this picture. Doesn't he look like a pencil with like his hair is like the eraser?
And the meerkats kind of look like pencils.
Oh, I see it now. I can't unsee it anymore.
Kind of like a razor. Yeah, but he
eraser.
He looked so good with the vest, Ben's vest. I think that Indiana Jones get up. I think that's the best he's looked. He looks great on the island.
Is that why Puya just posted a picture of himself in a vest?
Look, I don't want to talk about it, but
and what's covering the mini pipette?
Ooh,
Ew.
the micro pipette.
You need a Q skirt to cover that micro pipette.
It's a full size pipette, thank you.
Oh God, we need not need to know that. I hope that isn't clipped. And Puya, are you listening out there?
This meerkat's going back in his hole right now.
We need your references, Puya. We have one here. Okay. The black capped Kaik.
Okay.
This was a video clue too, sadly.
Okay, act it out then. Oh wait,
okay, so
whose turn is it?
It's Jesse's.
Right?
It's Jesse's. So this was just a picture of or a video of two of them together, and then one had a bottle cap in its mouth, and then the other one was like, here, I'll act it out with a duck. So then the other one was like, I try to take it from you, and then he was like, nah, and then he got it. He got the bottle cap, and then he was like jumping up and down of excitement. It was adorable. All right.
So I'm so glad I full screened that.
Me too.
Great.
I thought it's great.
I
Yeah, that
loved
was
it.
good. That was good. I will say I didn't ask for the clue.
Well, to be fair, the clue had nothing to do with the person. It was just a cute video that I found.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. So is there a clue for this?
Oh, yeah, there's a clue. Do you want it? Are you afraid?
No. Wait, so is the video not related at all
No.
to who this could be? Okay.
No. Oh, he's trying. I know what he's trying to do here. Come on now.
Well, I'm trying to get full points. Leave me alone.
Trying to work the system.
Yeah.
Gotta suss it out. Come on. All right, fine. Give me the clue.
So also, if it helps you, you're at 5 points. Liana's now at 3, and Mike is at 2. But you want the clue?
Ooh, this is a close game. Give me the clue.
Okay. Quirky, misunderstood, goofy.
Mm.
Ooh, I was gonna immediately say somebody, but now Jelinski.
Wrong. Mike.
Quirky, misunderstood, goofy. It is. I think it's the one who went right after Jelinski. Is it Jess?
What? Yes, you stole a point. You are now tied with Mother and behind Jesse. So 5-3-3. This is Jess Chong. A really quirky, fun bird. People misunderstand them, but they're hilarious. And maybe everybody should. I shouldn't say everybody should get one as a pet because you should be responsible if you're getting it's like having a child. But also for all you parrot truthers out there, you need to know that this is not the white-bellied kayik. Jess is a black-capped kayik. Get it right, because somebody else is probably going to be a white-bellied kayik later on. So it is what it is. This is probably the clown of the parrot world. If anybody is familiar with parrot lore, you know. All right.
Yes.
Probably someone who feels that way. Are these kayaks insectivores? Do they like eating ants?
No, they eat. No, they don't. Unfortunately, maybe I should have picked an anteater for her, but that's what she is. Anteaters are not quirky nor funny, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, the Pac-Man frog.
I feel like if I lick it, I'll be transported to probably a festival that Ben's played at a few times. Give me the clue. I'm in last right now, but I'm only behind it by a couple points.
All right. The Pac-Man frog is underestimated, silent but deadly, and can pack a bite because they have pharyngeal teeth that you would never know looking at one. Little cutie.
Oh, so I am between a couple here. Silent but deadly. I mean, there are a couple of under-edited people so far. As quirky as this cast is, from a confessional perspective, there are 2 that are definitely lagging behind. So it really is a coin flip for me as to which one is which. I do see more green than orange here, so going with that, I'll say Maria.
You are right. This is Maria. That's 2 points for Mike, and now he's tied it up with Jesse. Jesse, you played a great first 2/3 of the game, but I mean, he's gambling your ass right now. So Maria is the Pac-Man frog, and the Pac-Man frog is an incredible little frog. I have to say, they are wild, and they're really good predators. But also, you would never think it. Look at that little cutie in his little face; it's so cute. But then they can, and I've seen 2 Pac-Man frogs, and both clients,
Tupac man.
Yes. Both clients said, be careful. They're really aggressive. And I was like, this little thing. And then it did try to bite, with its little teeth. It's just like, it'll sit there and then it'll lunge when you're least suspecting it. And I think it's adorable. And I didn't get bit because I knew it was coming. But one of my assistants did. And I laughed and laughed. All right.
What a good boss.
So is it called a Pac-Man frog because like the patterns kind of make it look like a maze, like a Pac-Man game, or is it for another reason?
I have no idea.
Because it bites, right?
Oh yeah,
Maybe.
Good call, Jesse. Good call.
If you lick Maria, do you also end up at the festival that Ben's played?
Well, about to find out, I guess.
Come here, Maria.
What? Liana said, "Come here, Maria."
Where does this go?
Come here.
She'll never want to meet me now. My God. All right. So I'm
just imagining you meeting her and just being like, "May I lick you?" Because of course you ask for consent, obviously.
Of course.
Of course.
All right. So after the first round, we are at 5 points, Mike, 5 points, Jesse, and 3 points, Liana. This is the board of what animals are left because now we're switching it up where we're going to show you the person and you have to guess the animal. So maybe Jesse, you should screenshot this so you have this. list, but it's the bottlenose dolphin. Oh my god. Okay,
He was
wow.
prepared.
I'm
It's not in
prepared.
color, I know this. The
Prepared.
bottlenose dolphin, chameleon, the wallaby, green iguana, impala, king cobra, flamingo, leopard, mandrill, mola mola, aka the sunfish, the prairie dog, and the snow leopard remain. Are we all good?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
All right. I forgot whose turn it is. Jesse's, right?
No, it was Liana because I just got the 2.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you did. Okay, slay. Okay. Hunter McKnight, Liana.
Okay. Wow. This is so good. Okay. Okay. Wait. But I don't get any like hints, right?
No, there
It's
are
just
clues.
I
You
just
can
have to.
you can take the clue if you want. You can leave the clue if you want.
I think it's
But
that
what's
he will
the
he
clue?
is that he
You're just gonna tell
describes
me the-
hunt. No, he's gonna list the adjectives that he
The
uses for
adjectives fit
hunter.
both of them.
Yeah, and so you
Yeah,
have
I
to figure out the
understand
animal
that,
based
but
on that.
that's not helpful. So I'm gonna go.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the camouflage like concept. Okay, of hunter like hiding, right? Like hiding in the tree. I'm looking at these pictures, and the
Mhm.
snow leopard is looking mighty camouflaged. So I'm gonna go with the snow leopard.
Liana is right. And she caught
Nice!
the little Easter egg that was in the little package of
Ah,
clues for
see,
stealing
Look at
3
this.
points. And
You are my
Mother
child.
always knows best because she is now in the lead at 6 points. Okay, she knew what she was doing. She was playing a slow game. She wanted you all to underestimate her, and you did. And look where we are now. But I resent the fact
Yeah.
like these clues would have been helpful, you know? So like, come on. All right.
No, would they
The-
have?
Athletic, elusive,
elusive.
can be sociable. Hunter can be sociable when he wants to be, and he doesn't have to when he doesn't have to be because he can be up a tree, you know. And the athleticism of a snow leopard is incredible. Have you seen them try to chase down a goat on those mountains? It's crazy. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And one time I darted one, and it jumped onto the wall, and then onto the roof, and then onto the other wall, and did a loop. It was
What?
crazy. I've never seen
What?
anything like it.
Where were you? At
You
the
I was at the
darted?
zoo.
Oh.
Yeah, we had to do some work on it, you know. It had a little
Did you use like a blow dart?
Yeah, no, not a blow dart, a CO2 gun, like but it had a little tumor on its face, so we had to take it off.
Aw.
No.
But she jumped wall, roof, other wall, down. It was incredible.
That's so cool.
Never
That's
seen
so
anything
cool.
like
Do
it.
you think the snow
Classic
leopard then?
hunter.
Yeah, the snow leopard would definitely have won Get a Grip
Oh.
as well, right?
100%, and it would have done a backflip off the thing as well, you know? No question
Yeah.
about it. So we are now 6-5-5. This is incredible. This is a much tighter game than last time.
Yeah.
So I'm very impressed. All right, it's Mariah Gaynor. Let's go, Jesse.
All right. So snow leopard is gone, right?
Correct.
Okay, I know nothing about these animals, but I really want the 3 points.
Oh, the everlasting conundrum.
Oh,
God, fine.
I
Give me
would.
the hint.
Well, you know, I'm not going to make a suggestion. You do what you want.
Just give me the hint. Give me the hint.
Okay. You must pay attention to this hint.
Their aura.
It's their aura, which won't help you because you don't know this animal at all. They're
Thank you.
charming, adorable, collaborative, and also ironic. With this pick.
don't you think?
Ironic.
Aura. Charming, adorable, collaborative, ironic. Ooh. I'm going to go with the only bird we have left, I think, based on my little setup here.
Mhm.
And I'm going to go with the flamingo.
You are wrong, Michael Bloom.
I am going to go with. I'm just stuck on irony, as everyone was in the early 90s. I'm going to go with prairie dog, with the irony being it isn't from the prairie.
They are from the prairies.
I don't know. Maybe someone found them on the prairie and is like, that's a prairie dog. Or the irony is that they're not dogs.
I won't give this any more attention, Liana.
Oh, okay. You know what? It's so funny though, but that's what I was thinking too. Okay,
Yes,
I'm gonna
Liana and I are on
go.
the same page this entire day.
I don't know why. I was like, that makes sense to me. I am going to go. I'm between, in terms of irony, I'm like, the green iguana does not look very green in this picture. And I don't know if that was on purpose or not. So I'm going to go with the green iguana.
I'd love to hear where all of you were going. You were all wrong. So answer to
Rude.
the question is like, it's like Mariah Gaynor being an animal that jumps. It's a wallaby.
Oh, that's so much better.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yes. Oh, look how
These two.
cute.
So
They're
cute.
match, same but different. But like,
I love.
she is a wallaby, and so the thing is, so behind the scenes baseball on this whole situation here was
I
that I
don't
had
think
sent
that's
out
what,
a
I don't
list.
think that's how what the phrase is, but go ahead.
Okay, Mike, do you know a lot about baseball? I don't think you do.
I'm related to Jeff Kent, so yes.
I don't. To be honest, I don't know a lot that much about baseball. But anyways, so I sent out a list of 24 animals before I even knew Jesse was part of this cast. I was not told until the last minute. And the original list included a golden hamster, which was Mariah Gaynor. But the more I sat with that all afternoon, it just did not feel right because I'm like, she's a wallaby, and I can't help it if she can't jump, but she's a wallaby. So I had to change it, and I sent out a message amending the list. And that is why, if you notice, on the list of 24 animals, the wallaby is the only one not in alphabetical order.
Oh, that makes sense now. It's in the golden hamster position.
Correct. So, Mariah, you're a wallaby. You're in your natural instincts, and your evolutionary track will take you on the ability to jump. You just have to believe in yourself. It's like that bird that couldn't fly in Rio, and then it learned. All right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kenzie Petty.
Oh boy. So Kenzie has been like she's like my Venus. Like I've guessed her for so many times here. So give me the adjectives to describe her.
Social, big smile, a little edgy.
Ooh, a little edgy.
A little edgy. Oh boy. Okay.
These clues are too good. I feel like these clues are too good.
Big smile. So I gotta look at I'm not gonna look at what animal is smiling because that feels like it'd be purposely a trick here. But I feel like if I'm talking about like an animal that might have like a surprising amount of bite to it, despite the social perception, I'm gonna go with the bottlenose dolphin.
You are correct. That is 2 points for Mike. He's now in the lead at 7, 6, 5. And yes, Kenzie is the bottlenose dolphin. Big smile, big social energy, really good at playing the game because they're all over the place talking to everybody and also being really fun. However, there is that little bite to a dolphin too. You know, a dolphin is not a pushover. When they see a shark, they can all get together and then, hit the shark with their nose until the shark drowns, like that's pretty crazy. They can work together and get the job done when it's time. And that's Kenzie, mermaid, dragon. And he said, remember that. And I did. All right. And also the flippers on that dolphin are like the mermaid tail.
Very true. Even though, didn't Bonu say that she's the upper half of a mermaid, which is the
Yes.
human?
Doesn't make any sense.
The human part, yeah.
It is.
Well, she is. She is literally the upper half of her is a mermaid. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. So Mike pulls ahead slightly. Randon.
I will take the hints.
Oh, so you're not too good for the hint now, are you? Yeah. After all the shit you talked. Vibes. And what I mean by vibes is that they just remind me of one another, but there's no particular reason because we didn't see that much of Randon other than his Daniel Strunk,
Who's vibes?
Stable and strong. I mean, I got nothing else for you.
Oh my god. Well, let's see. Which of these animals is vibes? Well, a flamingo stands on one foot. So
okay, well,
and Randon had only one working shoulder. Is that the
all, why did you say that? Why did you say that for a flamingo in particular, as opposed to any other bird? Because all birds can stand on one foot and do that.
It's the only bird left. Obviously, I knew that, and I would have not said that if there were other birds left.
Right,
obviously.
exactly.
Yeah,
okay.
Come on. Just get out of here.
I remember I had a bird, one of 10,000 birds. you have to go to work too? Like, shut up.
Oh my gosh. You know, this has become a biannual game, not by my choice. Okay, to make that clear.
I mean, does it count if Liana's handling a different pipette?
You
So how does it
you know
work?
how to cut deep, mommy. Okay.
Oh,
Look,
God.
Jesse made it further than you. I'm just saying. Okay, so
Preach.
Mike, why are you taking her side?
I just love the mess.
Okay.
Okay, I have absolutely zero idea. So why not flamingo? Let's go for it.
Wrong. Let's
Yeah,
move on
whatever.
to Jesse for the steal.
Well, there's a lot to go off of here. So
Yes, so much.
Omer, I just want to. Can I ask a question?
You can ask, but if the other two consent to the answer, then I can answer it.
Okay. Have you ever treated an animal on this list that we have left here?
I love that
Some sort
Jesse
of
is
injured
changing the game
arm.
so much. I love this so much.
Injured
Wait.
arm for any reason. Like,
Wait, what's left on this list? Let me check.
We've got a
Oh.
chameleon, an iguana, an
So I have
impala.
treated a chameleon. I have treated a wallaby. I have treated a green iguana. Oh, sorry, I have the ones left. I've treated a flamingo,
Wow.
and a snow leopard. But that has nothing to do with this clue.
okay, well, thank you for that. I didn't want you to pull it out at the end, like, oh, I treated this animal for an injured arm at one point, and Randon had an injured arm.
Not the Slumdog Millionaire.
Okay,
the
I'm
Indian
gonna
too,
go with so vibes, stable and strong. We're gonna go left field here and just go with the prairie dog.
You are
Vibes.
wrong.
Vibes.
All right, Michael, for the
Vibes.
steal.
The animal that's giving me vibes right now, mandrill is giving me so much face. And I feel like primates are very strong. I'm going to go with the mandrill.
You are wrong as well. And to be fair, this one's tough. I don't even know what to say, but I feel like when I see Randon, when I feel Randon, I feel green iguana.
Okay.
It is what it is. You know, that's what
There's the vibes.
he's. You know, he's a little reptilian out of the mammal, bird, or reptilian class. I think we got to go there. And then what's a reptile that's pretty strong and sturdy, and you know is doing their best, and that's an iguana. Really, you know, he's not really like a little gecko that's too fragile. You know, I guess maybe that would have been the better choice. But also in captivity, a lot of times people don't feed an iguana properly, and then they develop metabolic bone disease, and then maybe they get a broken arm.
Okay, so
it does connect back to that at the end of the day.
Who's to say? It's all part of the, you know, you can make the puzzle fit any way you want, you know? All right. Look at that iguana. It's not even that
not
green.
very green.
The women
Yeah,
iguanas
it actually
are more
looks very
green.
orange.
The women,
Ah.
the man iguanas are more orange, but the females are very green.
Gotcha.
Okay, here we go. The legendary Jelinski himself.
Jelinski. Is it my turn? It's my turn, right?
I think it's your turn, yeah.
Okay.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Just give me the clue. Just give me the clue.
Iconic. Gangly. Living their best life.
Gangly.
In their own world.
Gangly. Okay. Let me see. Iconic.
And I will say the photo I chose of this animal looks very much like a cast photo.
Mandrill. Mandrill.
No, I was hoping you would tie it up, dude. Sorry.
Dang.
That's wrong.
Right.
Mandrill's not gangly at all. They're a little short and stocky.
I don't know. You only gave us a picture of the face.
You had all afternoon to look these up.
Yeah.
Just like, well, Rafiki's a mandrill, right? That's the one to go off of. I'll go with the flamingo here.
Yes, Michael Bloom pulls ahead once again. Look at this. Look at this striking cast photo of this flamingo.
Oh, it does look like a cast photo.
Just like after Jelinski was watching himself off after hurling the hourglass in the sand.
If you have ever met a flamingo, they are living in their own world. They're doing their own thing, and they are an iconic animal. Everybody knows what a flamingo is. Everybody loves a flamingo, and everyone loves Jelinski. And he, you know, you go back and you read the flamingo's exit press, and you realize it was an oracle. Everything he said was true.
Plus, could you imagine if Jelinski like voiced a flamingo for some sort of animated picture?
Oh, it'll be perfect voice. You're so right. That's so shred /
Hey,
rock.
everybody. There's some great shrimp over here. I'm gonna fess up. There's some great shrimp over here. I don't want to deceive you.
And I have treated several flamingos in my lifetime.
Mm.
Actually, I also cared for several flamingos, and it was actually a group of several, and they are the messiest animals that you'll ever meet. Like, it will
Well.
take 3 times as long to clean out a flamingo enclosure than it would a parrot one.
Ew.
That
Ugh.
shit stinks.
Ah,
All right.
so not like messy, because Jelinski was pretty messy. I don't know if
Well,
he's
he was.
messy.
They are messy. Oh, extremely so.
Yeah.
It goes everywhere. Yeah.
Ew.
All right, Liz is the last one. The last, but not least. We saved the best for last. Liz.
All right. So it's on me now? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yes.
between, it's a chameleon, an impala, king cobra, leopard, mandrill, mola mola, and prairie dog. Prairie dog's still in there too?
Yes.
Okay. I'll get the clue just for formality's sake.
Fascinating, underrated, hilarious.
Underrated? Okay.
Yeah. Well, did you know what any of these
Hilarious.
animals were, Michael? You probably didn't.
All right, so I'm going to take out, with underrated, let me take out some, like, name-recognized animals. I will take out the chameleon. I'd probably take out the leopard. And I would probably take out the king cobra as well. So that leaves, that has, like, thinned the herd a little bit here. Hilarious. Is it my old pal, the prairie dog?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, Regis.
You are correct.
Yeah!
Liz is the prairie
Oh.
dog.
Oh
Dog.
my gosh.
They're so funny. We went to the zoo recently in another city during one of these watch parties, and I don't remember which one it was. It might have been the LA Zoo, but we just watched the prairie dogs for the longest of any other animal. They were so fun. They just did their own thing. They weren't bothered by anybody else. They lived their own lives. They play their own way, and that's Liz, And they're also rich. And so they're rich enough to, if they don't want to be around you, they could just give you the plague because they carry that. If you didn't know,
Like the bubonic plague?
the bubonic plague, my dear.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Ring around the rosies, a pocket full of prairie dogs. Ashes,
what?
ashes, we all fall
Is that
down.
how it goes? What was that?
Yeah.
Shouldn't
Yeah.
people be
Oh,
talking
prairie.
about this more? I feel like that's a problem. If there's an animal that carries the bubonic plague.
Listen, let them live. Let them fruit bats carry around Ebola and COVID. And you know what? It's humans' faults for getting them because they do all those mixing of animals. So it's not the prairie dog's fault, Mike. Just don't go eat from their ass or something. Like, my God. Leave
Well,
them
now
alone.
my Friday night plans are canceled, Homer. Thank you. I was going to go eat out a prairie dog's asshole, but I guess I got to find something else to do.
Yeah, truly.
To be fair, it would be a pretty small meal considering the size.
All right. So Mike Bloom has handily.
My joke was going to be, well, I'm going to unsubscribe from Prairie Dog Weekly. And then Full Bloom over here is like, I'm eating ass, baby. Not just any ass, prairie dog ass.
Please, full meerkat.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Michael, you killed it. You got 10 points.
Oh my
Liana
God.
got 6. Jesse got 5. But we are going to always do a little bonus question for funsies because we love it so much. So, which Survivor boot, which could be this season or of all time, was most metaphorically like the prolapse cloaca and why? So last time we asked who is most representative of the cloaca. And I feel like this is now our new tradition. And so keep in mind the cloaca is messy. It's everything all at once, versatile, poop, urates, eggs. The cloaca does it all. You have to play cloacally in Survivor to win, which is social, strategic, and physical. So when it prolapses, this means big trouble. So you will all give me the answer and I will judge the best answer.
So this could be a boot from this season or in Survivor history.
Yes.
Wait, so you don't have an answer already predetermined?
No, this is a vibes only answer.
Okay.
Okay. So I will answer first because I have an answer in mind. So here's the thing. I'm specifically going to, so I'm saying Tony is my answer. Okay. And I'm going with Game Changers Tony, right? Because the cloaca functions normally, right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's winning, right? Like it's winning Winners at War. It's winning Cagayan. But the prolapse cloaca specifically is what we're talking about, right? We're talking about Tony, a mess. I mean, normally a mess, right? And he can do everything. He's versatile. He won an all winners season. Like that is pretty freaking versatile. You've got the Tony Shack, you've got all the bags of tricks and all of that going on, right? The versatility is there, but when it fails, when it prolapses, boy, big trouble. So
Messy.
messy, and that was Tony and Game Changers.
Okay, so we have Tony and Game Changers for Liana.
Yes.
Okay.
Jesse or Mike, you can.
Yeah, Jesse, what do you think?
What do you like?
Oh my God. I don't know. How do I follow up the Tony one? That's amazing. Is there a way that I could spin this and really appeal to Omer's heart here?
That's part of the game.
I'll go
Honestly.
next to maybe save the best for last here, because on a similar note, but has more, I think, career notes in the tick box to maybe outmeasure Tony, I would go with Tyson Apostle. If you're talking about someone that has playing colloquially, which sounds like colloquially, which is interesting, social, strategic, and physical, Tyson in Blood versus Water, one of the best games that we've had there. He is an athlete, run a good amount of immunities, obviously has the social game on lock. He wore his own Q skirt when he put his buff over his own junk back in Token Sheens. But Tyson, when it goes wrong for him, it goes really wrong for him. He lost his girlfriend to Brad Culpepper and nearly switched out on Redemption Island. He was voted out twice in Winners at War. And
Sorry. That sounds like Rachel left him for Brad Culpepper.
imagine.
In that situation.
Like if the 46 cast was giving mess on social media, that would have been a whole new level. But
Yeah,
I think most pertinently, Tyson kind of stepped in his own shit, which is a nice excrement from the cloaca, when he ends up getting himself voted out of Survivor Heroes versus Villains. And so I feel like his capacity to work hard, but maybe sometimes overexert himself to the point where things just get out of hand and pop out in a manner of speaking, makes me think it's Tyson.
Okay, so we have Tyson. All right, Jesse.
All right, I'm going to jump in here, and I'm just going to say that I'm going to work from a place of disadvantage here. They're picking people that have played multiple times. It's very easy for them to craft this sort of, narrative and, make this big speech about how it relates. So I'm going to do the harder thing here. And I'm going to go with Jess from this season. I'm going to say that she was preseason. People were very high up on her. People saw she had all the tools. I felt like reading her profile, I was like, oh, this is somebody who can go far. She's got the social. I think she's got some social aspect to her. There's some strategic game there. And I think she could do physically well. I think she could pull it out. But
like a micro pipette.
Is that going to make it? Are we live? We're not live.
It's all kept in.
So I think that she had all of the pieces. She could be everything all at once, but it just didn't happen. It sort of just collapsed. Like physically, she wasn't able to sleep. She was having to pick at ants, for nutrients. Nobody was willing to engage and play with her. So the social thing kind of fell in on itself. And because of that, the strategy side of things never really took off. So I took the harder path here because, why does my path always have to be the hardest? And I'm going to go with the Jess. And I hope you can respect that, Omer.
Okay, so this is tough because last year, Liana opened up with Natalie Anderson being the cloaca. And I was like, damn, that is such a good answer. And, everybody gave a great answer. And then this time I was like, I heard Liana's and like, she must win. It has to be Tony. And then I hear Mike's. I'm like, okay, I could see a pathway there for Mr. Tyson. And then I was like, Jesse's SOL. again. But then I'm like, no, maybe not. But the thing is, I think the thing that's interesting about Jesse's answer is that things were going so wrong for Jess when they should have gone so right. And there was a period of time of maybe a day or two in the game where her cloaca was hanging out, and it was like, it was just ready to, like, ready to be, put down basically, or put back in. Ideally, ideally you do the surgery, you put it back in, and then you let them live. But, hers was out and like maybe getting necrotic, and it was like too late. And there was a period of time in the game where she was a dead woman walking, and it was just waiting for tribal council. And, she was ready to go on her own terms. So that is the essence of cloacal prolapse. And it has to be Jesse. I did not see it until I saw it, and now I can't unsee it anymore.
Plus Jess is a bird, right, as well, and I believe this is specific to bird types, the cloaca.
Yeah, nope. So a lot of animals have a cloaca, Mike.
Yeah,
reptiles, fish, and also some mammals have pseudocloacas, like guinea pigs. And guinea pigs have a pseudocloaca that gets filled with all this weird shit like poop and smegma, and it's really gross.
Oh.
All right. Well, next season will be who is a pseudocloaca.
Yeah,
oh, look at this beautiful graphic.
Oh,
so here they are with their animals. Who do you think is most likely to hate their animal? I think it's gonna be Jen.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe she won't like a turtle.
They're cute though.
Jen was supposed to be an ungulate, like a hoofed animal, but then hoofed animal doesn't hide an idle beware advantage like that. Like it just doesn't.
I feel like if Mariah was a different type of person, she would take some offense to the wallaby comparison for the irony of it all, but I think she'd love it.
Why would she hate a wallaby? It's so cute.
I think it's just a reminder to her of the inability to jump.
Oh, I see.
Listen, no matter what, I am thrilled to not only win this game, but to welcome another survivor adjacent person into Meerkat Manor. Mm-hmm. This was truly sensational, Omer. Thank you so much for providing so much information about the animal kingdom and your thoughts on these players by proxy.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
It was a pleasure.
Anything else you want to say? Anything you want to plug?
No, I came in pretty hot, but I felt like that was an appropriate entrance for this week's episode. And I am very proud of all of you for doubling the scores of last season,
There we go. We're on a hot streak right now. Maybe it was just moving on from the birds that did it all.
Yeah. And all of you have your own auras. So just keep it going. Represent your animals. Liana, don't forget your animal. Trash bag.
I wrote it down this time.
I thought you wrote it down last time.
It was in your banner for a while.
I know. I had to change it though. But yeah, maybe I'll change it back just for you, Omer.
All right. Thank you. And good luck.
Thank you, Sassy
and
Omer.
Yes. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
All right. Omer and his duck, everybody. Oh my goodness. What a great time. What a sensational time we've had on the B&B. I think it was tough to, on paper, to match the energy of just how wild that episode was. I think we find it quite literally with the wild elements of this particular podcast. Jesse, I'll sort of take a derailment back to the episode proper. I'll throw it to you. Anything else you want to talk about with regards to this episode, this season so far? Response to, I guess, what we just underwent for the past hour?
Can we get back to the episode at this stage of where we're at in the podcast?
No.
I don't know how we move on from here the same way. I don't know how season 46 and the people that are left are going to move on from that crazy tribal that they went through. I'm very excited to see what happens next. I don't know how Q spins this, and I don't know how people decide to work with Q from here on out. I don't know how you work with him at this stage. So I'm very excited to see what happens. And it's been it was a fun episode. I won't say the whole season has been, fun. It's been fun in its own way, but last episode was extremely fun.
Absolutely. So I'm excited for, hopefully, to your point, that sort of trajectory to continue. Because look, even if it's like a rote, unanimous Q boot episode, like, it's still going to be a good time because it's a Q boot episode. And so he is going to absolutely make a meal out of it, even though he was deprived of rice. Last thing we usually do on the B&Bs, of course, give some time to our guests to promote a charity or a cause that they feel is important to them, that listeners want to check out if they have the ways and means to do so. Jesse, is there anything you have in mind that you would like to highlight this week?
Yeah, I would say I think that it's not necessarily a charity, but I think it's an organization that's really doing important work in California. And I think they're expanding outside of California as well. It's called the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. It is for people who are coming out of prison, who've spent time in prison. They do things in prisons. They provide services. They provide ride homes from prison, job security, housing, job resources, things along those lines. And they also work on, doing policy change as well. So I think that is an extremely important organization to work to look into. It was started actually by somebody named Scott Budnick, who was the executive producer on The Hangover. He visited a juvenile hall and he saw what was going on in the system, and he was like inspired to do something about it. And so he created this Anti-Recidivism Coalition, and it's doing really great work. They've worked with people like, they brought people like Common into the prisons, Justin Bieber into the prisons. He's brought Kim Kardashian into, the prisons to see everything that's happening and to talk with these guys and women as well. So definitely check them out. I think they're doing incredible work.
That is awesome. And yeah, I know that, you getting to open up and tell your story, I think it was a very unique experience that honestly doesn't get told a lot on the show. And I know that a lot of the fandom was really positively affected getting to find out what you had undergone and the fact that you were able to see through to the other side. And I think this is an opportunity to be able to provide other great stories such as yours. So I'm so glad that not only are they doing great work, but that you came on for the chance to highlight that.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy to be able to share that with people.
Well, we were so happy to have you come on and talk about all this malarkey, all this nonsense. It was truly a delight. Quite literally better late than never. We were so happy to have you make your B&B debut. We can't be like Jeff and ask, are you new like Soda? You are no longer new. You have been indoctrinated into the hall of B&B guests. But I know, as you mentioned several times, you're out there on social media, talking about Survivor. And actually, I know that the Clan Lopez made a return to the YouTube streets as of late. Is there anything in particular you want to plug?
Yeah, so you can follow me on social media, Instagram and Twitter at Jesse_L_Lopez. But as you were saying, you should specifically check out the most recent Mr. Beast video because my son got his chance to return. He competed in one challenge last year and he was invited back. I'm going to call this his all-star season. So yes, he was an all-star before I got the chance to be. So
amazing.
I love that.
All right, Liana, what do you have going on? I know that one door is certainly closing this week in balloon-laden fashion.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So you can follow me on Twitter at Liana RHAP. We just wrapped up Drag Race. So the Drag Race finale, we literally recorded that earlier today. So that should be out in your ears the time you're listening to this. So definitely check that out. And then Masked Singer is chugging along. And if you're interested, check that out too. It's chaotic. So if you're enjoying this episode, the podcast is also very chaotic.
And you can follow me at a Mike Bloom type. Check out my conversation with Tevin, which suffice to say, if you listen to our preseason interview out on the island and you like the chemistry, it came back in style this week. Really great to hear from Tevin about a lot of his thoughts. I think, like Soda, he clarified a lot about his side of the Venus stuff that I think was really important to find out. So be sure to check that out over at parade.com, where I also spoke with the most recent boot from The Amazing Race and did a very fun crossover podcast. Myself and Jess were joined by Bryce and by Brooke, winner of season 29. That was a ridiculous time. We had this like mega leg that was full of a lot of interesting stuff from a strategic perspective, but we just had a really grand time getting to break everything down. And the last thing I'll plug is that the circle is back. We have 1 week, 1/3 of the season is already in the books. And so I have been having the great pleasure of podcasting about this with Taryn and the aforementioned Pipette Puya. We're doing weekly breakdowns of the circle. We talked about it last week, where in case you missed it, they have this big twist where one of the contestants is an AI, completely self-generated chat bot that is just playing the circle alongside everybody. Jesse, how do you feel about this?
That sounds wild. I haven't watched The Circle since like the second season, but I saw on Twitter that there was this Alexa style sort of setup with an AI. So I'm very curious. I'm probably going to check it out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. I think that it's a very fun wrinkle to add into the game. And I think the group of players as well, either like ironically or fittingly kind of match the tone of they are gaming from the jump. And so if you've been yearning for some actual social strategy from the circle, you can check that out. And we'll be doing weekly coverage as episodes drop every Wednesday. I also did an interview with the showrunners the past couple days to talk through exactly what their thinking was behind this AI twist, to really kind of press them on like, yeah, but is it really that self-contained? Is it on its own? They swear up and down it is, but if you want to find out the origin as to how this twist came to be sure to check that out. Last thing I will plug is that I am doing something Survivor adjacent. I got to talk with Boston Rob about Dondi. I talked with him about Deal or No Deal Island, which he has been certainly making a meal of, and our podcast have as well. That should be out on Monday at the time we're recording this, along with the sneak peek clip. So if you want to hear some more about Rob, about how his expectations certainly compared and contrasted to what is actually going on with that old messy show, be sure to check that out. And of course, if you have game ideas to send our way, please do. RHAPBNB@gmail.com or hashtag RHAPBNB. Got a couple of game suggestions this week, which hopefully we can institute moving forward, which I'm super excited about. Any and all ideas. We are non-discriminatory from that perspective. Be sure to let them know, and perhaps we can play them next week. We are going to be joined by yet another New Era alumni, yet another person making their B&B debut. Franny Marin is going to be coming on. I don't know if she is a stick bug, according to Omer, but someone who was once mother to stick bugs will be coming on to talk about week 9 of Survivor 46, as we'll see how much more wackadoo this season can get. Special thanks to everyone behind the scenes at RHAP for packaging this podcast, for your eyes and ears out there. And of course, special thanks to Will from America for his fantastic theme song. And of course, Omer Zahir for bringing the thunder, as he does every single time with that incredible animal game. Liana and I will be back next week with Franny Marin breaking down episode 9 of Survivor 46. Until next time, everybody, we'll check you out at your next stay.